Hamin Army, are you ready for what is sure to be the most stupendous WrestleMania review? Of course, I am that onto the beat of the beat, Richard Bronson Vickery. And why Ben Hamid is away at play, we have got two very special guest hosts with us. Hey, we're going to see if this boat can float because we are coming heavy with that Hammy's hardware. You know, first off here, I've been waiting for this one for a long time. First, joining us here, he is a two-time Hammy's Award winner, Rookie of the Year, Pro of the Year. Man, this is what I've been waiting for.
Hold on there, buddy.
Oh, okay, Ray.
The Vet. He's a Rip Rogers guy. The Vet. Rip Rogers guy. Rick Vickery, you got to say, you know what to say. He's a what?
I was going to say, this is my WrestleMania moment, Ray. You get to do it every week, but he's a Rip Rogers guy. He is the Vet, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, sir, to the Monday Locker Room.
Good morning. This is my Monday Locker Room debut. So,
Really?
Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, a WrestleMania full of debuts. Mm-hmm. And now the Vet making his Monday Locker Room debut. Hey, they're the first time around for the Vet. We've also got with us, he's also a two-time Hammy's Award winner. The affiliate show of the year, the producer of the year, and a Monday Locker Room OG. He was here day one, ladies and gentlemen. Day one. He got this show off the ground, rocking and rolling. Ooh, finger licking good over there. Big Ray Hernandez, welcome back to your Monday Locker Room.
What's going on, man? I can't believe the Vet. It's your first time doing the Monday morning locker room. This is the show of the Immortals, the whatever the gimmick they say for WrestleMania. I put it all in the description. I'm fucking excited, man.
All that's left is Friday now.
What's left is Friday. Listen, man, you're saying this, you know, I have a feeling, like I said, off air, me and the Vet are gonna have we may have very different opinions of this show. I absolutely, you know what? I'll save it for later, Rick.
Well, I think what's good about it is you look up and down 2 nights, maybe 3 nights. We'll touch a little bit on the Hall of Fame. I want to get you guys some quick thoughts on that as well. But I think that, you know, there was something. You look at the kind of the comments, the circles around the different chat groups and that around the internet there, the internet wrestling community, if you will. Since it seems to be that people enjoyed this thing, and I think it was because this was a true variety show. There was a little something for everybody, which means there was a lot for people to enjoy and maybe a lot for people, maybe not so much. It wasn't maybe their cup of tea. But we're going to get into all of that. We're going to dive right in. I do want to thank everybody that's joining us in the chat. I know we are rocking and rolling. A lot of familiar faces. Real quick shout out to the Soldier of the Year representing the Hamin Army. He is with us. Frank's Pickle Barrel ass back in the chat where it's at. Everybody else, Big Ray's going to take care of you, giving you the shout outs. So make sure that you're active in the chat as we hit all these matches and happenings from the weekend that was, the stupendous weekend that was WrestleMania weekend. Well, it's go back to Friday, getting things going. A little bit of a different look for the Hall of Fame. Let's go. We'll go around here. We'll start with you, Vet. Overall thoughts, and of course, the main eventer. Weigh in on what you thought about the Undertaker's very unique and different presentation than what most fans are used to.
Right. Well, it's not a totally unique look. We've seen this look before. I think this was the look they had when somebody tried to tackle Bret Hart, right? So. It has been seen before, but overall, you know, it was your standard Hall of Fame, except for, like you said, the Undertaker at the end with the what do you call it? The hands free, you know, getting to roam around the ring and give his long speech. It couldn't have been anything else, right? You would have had to give the Undertaker all the time he wanted. The freedom to do whatever he wanted, say whatever he wanted. No one's going to count him down or anything like that. So we all knew that what to expect there, and I think he obviously delivered. You'll never catch me saying anything bad about the Undertaker. I was very privileged to be a very infinitesimal part of his career involved in a WrestleMania and such. So, but that's not why. It's because he's one of those guys that, you know, when you look back at the totality of the entire professional wrestling business, there's very few people that don't have some sort of like black mark on the record for some scandal or some, you know, behavior or some just negative reputation, whatever. Like even our most favorite wrestlers of all time have all got those like those vices and those issues and stuff that they've had, and you've never heard anything but professionalism from the Undertaker for the 30 years he was in the WWE and the however many, you know, years before that he's been in the business. He's always been a guy that you could look to as a paragon of professionalism in every facet, just from and walking the line between classic pro wrestler and outrageous sports entertainer, taking a gimmick that you could totally see Vince could have gave this gimmick to anybody. You know, he could have gave it to like a Sid Vicious or something and it would have fizzled out in like 6 months. You know, like the gimmick was as ridiculous as all of the ridiculous gimmicks that they've ever been, but it was because of this guy that it got over to the degree that it did, which led us to Friday night and his rightful, long-awaited induction into the Hall of Fame. Whatever your opinion of the Hall of Fame is, any Hall of Fame, he deserves to be first ballot, right up there. No question. No one's going to raise an eyebrow. That's the Undertaker for you.
Now, Big Ray, you of a great faith background. What do you think of the Taker? I guess he's been making this as a little bit of the routine. He's been hitting down there in the Texas Christian scene, kind of the Sunday morning church presentation.
Right.
What were your thoughts there overall, and this look for the Taker?
Is he going to church with Alice Cooper? They should start a church together, because you know Alice Cooper is allegedly Christian as well. I have to disagree with the vet. You know, the vet is coming in here. He's saying, "Oh, I can't say anything wrong about the Undertaker." I mean, the guy fucking basically killed his mother and you know, in a fire in the house. You know, he thought he killed his brother. Never mentioned it to anybody for almost how many years? His brother shows up and he acts like he doesn't know him. All right, then they fight all the freaking time. Turns his back on his brother. He basically buried alive his own freaking manager. You know, pouring cement over the guy. Hello, ended Hulkamania. You know, in Texas. I mean, disgusting. Just
stole all those poor WrestleMania moments from individuals.
Just a disgusting individual. But nah, dude. All jokes aside, I mean, he's the freaking Undertaker, man. And the vet is right. He's very rarely do you have a person that goes an entire career and not hear like terrible things about this person. Much like New York's own Derek Jeter. I mean, he played in the biggest market in the world. He was at the top of his, you know, not the greatest of all time, but he's at the top. The Undertaker's right there, man. Now, here's a funny thing. Here's a question I have for you guys. So, arguably the biggest star in WWE history, is it Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, or is it The Undertaker? Because all three of those guys got inducted. And it was a big difference for The Undertaker. Is it because The Undertaker never left? Mm-hmm. Stone Cold technically never. Well, he did drop the ball, and I guess that's why they gave him like the big shebang, right? The way they did.
I think a lot of when you look at the longevity of what The Undertaker represented, and that's what makes him stand out over somebody like an Austin, who really coming in. Obviously, Taker was elsewhere, but relatively unknown. Where people recognize they knew Stunning Steve. He had established himself there. The Austin, why it was so amazing, was such a short boom period. And Undertaker was kind of always, you look in pro wrestling, you look for that workhorse. Well, truly in the sense of what pro wrestling means, right? That everything you really want. Undertaker was that workhorse.
Yes.
From the front to the back.
Yeah, and like he even mentioned in his speech, like the amount of shit that they dumped on him to try to get over. You know what I mean? Like on top of all that. So Ray, it's like Austin had a good, 7-8 year run. Nothing like Aaliyah's run, but pretty good. And then you got, like Hogan, you know, he had his good run, but like 30 years, 30 solid years.
That's crazy.
Come on. No one can even fathom a 30-year wrestling career in the same place with the same gimmick, even though the gimmick was changed and altered and you know, modified here and there, but essentially the same. I mean, you will never see the like of that again. You never saw the like of it before. You'll never see the like of it again. It just can't be done. It literally can't be done. Because before him, the business was totally different and not as, you know, widespread, didn't have the reach. It was compartmentalized. And now the business is slowly dying, and there won't be another 30 years in it. So this is the one time we were all alive right now to see at least a part of that great legacy, and we're lucky to have been around now.
Is he the greatest though?
I was just to kind of piggyback there on Ray's. I was going to throw to you guys. Not just the greatest, but he often gets overlooked for the discussions of, you know, pro wrestling's Mount Rushmore.
I don't know how.
You know, I mean, let alone greatest. You know, he's got to be at least in that, you know, that top 4 when we talk about, you know, representing the business as a whole.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know how you would overlook the Undertaker. I mean, like that just said, 30 freaking years, 30 years, undefeated at WrestleMania, multiple time world champion, just an iconic figure. He's one of those figures. Excuse me, like Razor Ramon, the late great Razor Ramon, Hulk Hogan. I'm just waking up, guys. You have to forgive me.
We're having trouble with those H words this morning. We're all
yeah, it's terrible. I mean, Andre the Giant. Those are names that you throw out there, and people just know who they are. They don't have to be wrestling fans. Everybody knows the Undertaker. My mother knows the Undertaker. Well, I mean, it's not her fault, but my aunt knows the Undertaker. She doesn't watch wrestling at all. She knows who that is. She knows a big dead guy. You know, and then, you know, like really wrap your head around this gimmick, guys. Like really wrap your head around how the Undertaker, he's the Madonna, by the way, of pro wrestling. And what I mean is that this dude is always on top. He's always going to come out with a #1 single, okay? And he's always going to change his look. He's always going to change his moniker. Just like the vet was saying, dude, it's the Madonna, man. He votes.
Even Madonna fell off before the Undertaker did.
You know, you're right.
So, I mean, I get what your point is, but like she can't hold a candle to the Undertaker.
No, I think the Undertaker would beat her quick.
Yeah, and that's
Squash
just
match.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like when you put it in those contexts of those guys and their biggest deals, like Hulk Hogan, the run was like what, 6 years, 7 years, you know, 8 years. Austin, 8 years.
What about The Rock? People always talk about The Rock, but The Rock was only the man
6
for
years,
like,
6, 7 years.
If that.
He was out. He was out by 2003.
Yeah.
And he just comes back every now and then, just like Austin came back and Hogan came back for another run. You know, after I'm talking about the main Hulkamania run was probably from like 84 to, you know, 93, if you want to, you know, and it obviously wasn't strong at the end, right? And the Undertaker is just like, again, like you were starting to say, right? It's like a shitty gimmick. Like, I mean, I thought it was cool when I was 9 years old,
right?
Because he looked
terrified when he first made his debut.
It looked cool. Like the outfit looked cool and idea of it looked cool. But like that could have, like I said, if you gave that to somebody else, that could have just as easily been a Duke the Dumpster Droese or a Doink the Clown or just one of those like occupational gimmicks. It's literally a job, Undertaker. You know what I mean? Like we've gone from thinking of that as somebody that takes care of dead bodies to a wrestler. Like that's how much the Undertaker has impacted pop culture. Like the first thing we think of is, oh, Mark Calloway. And the second thing we think of is Mortician. You know what I mean? So that's the influence that he have.
I think what's so great about it, he is really the epitome of pro wrestling itself, where you don't have to believe in pro wrestling. You don't have to believe in all the gimmicks, but you believed in the man the entire time.
And I wanted to also add you know, when the WWE was going into the Attitude Era, and he did change and turn into that. What were they putting him over as?
Well, in the Attitude, he went more dark because you had the Ministry of Darkness. It was a much more sinister side that we hadn't seen before,
and then as
almost more satanic.
Right, exactly. And that was believable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's the dead man, yeah. But the satanic thing is believable. And then he turns into the biker Undertaker. It's believable. You know, like everything just fucking worked. And then he just came back and went right back to the dead man. You know, because that's what we love. Dude, I tell you, man, the Undertaker, I was trying to think off the top of my head, and I want to just give a quick shout out to the entire chat right now. We're about 35 strong, maybe even more than that right now. So thank you guys for joining us live. But I was thinking, who is number 2 when it comes to that? Is a guy like Ric Flair? You know, did he go on too long? Did Ric Flair diminish his his legacy by continuing to wrestle in TNA? You know, putting shitty matches together towards the end. Like, who is number 2, guys? If the Undertaker, with his longevity and all that other stuff, is number 1, who's number 2? Put it in the chat. Who's your number 2, guys?
That is kind of a tough one. I think my first instinct would potentially go to Hogan, just for the reinvention. I mean, he, for better or worse, he's been able to remain in headlines, even through pulp culture. A lot on the back end of this career, as we're talking, a lot for worse than the positives that we remember Hulk Hogan for.
We're getting HBKs, we're getting Hulk Hogan's, we're getting Chris Benoit's. Jeez, bastards. Oh my God, Jerry the King Lawler, you son of a bitch. It has to be Frank Picklebaro ass. Didn't he win? Didn't he win an award too?
He did. Soldier of the Year. Representing out there in the streets. But anyway, tremendous to see Undertaker. Definitely a bright spot of the weekend, and what the side that he showed, many that the fans had not seen before. Many a tears across the world of professional wrestling with the Undertaker going in the hall. Of course, we saw the Undertaker. Also, 2 emotional moments both nights, night 1 and 2 of WrestleMania. Very nice to him. Just short, sweet. Say less, get over, get out. Perfect from the Undertaker. But gentlemen, as we've got a lot to cover, 2 nights, 14 matches, so many happenings. We're going to just dive right into everything. Let's start night 1. We'll get it going here.
Oh, so we're going into night 1.
We'll go into. Yeah, I guess that would make sense, right? Ray, did you want to work backwards, Ray?
Well, no, I'm just wondering because we did discuss off air. I said, look, give me cues, let me know when you're gonna jump into night 1.
Night 1, buddy. That's your cue.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is night 1 of WrestleMania. Royal family. All right, there, Rick Vickery, take it away.
Good night when we get going here, gentlemen. Did you tune in for the pre-show night 1? They hooked me. They had me. 2 hours of pre-show. I sit through, and my maybe one of my only disappointments of this WrestleMania. I didn't realize they moved the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, or I'm sorry, as the graphic said after they announced Madcap is the winner, the Andrew the Giant.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Memorial Battle Royal. I didn't realize they moved this thing to Friday to SmackDown. I did skip out on SmackDown this week because of all the other shows going on, especially a loaded Friday evening. I was disappointed. And I started thinking about these pre-shows, and these things are a rib on the fans, aren't they? 2 hours of video packages of shit that we've suffered through watching for weeks to months build. No matches, no business going forward. I am done. I swore off pre-shows from this point forward.
Good.
What do you watch?
Because of night 1. I don't know. They hooked me. The rib was on me. Okay, I'm the mark there. I'm the pre-show mark.
Here's what the pre-show is for. If you're having one of those deals, like, I don't know who's sad enough to do this anymore, but if you have friends over to watch this show or something, and you just kind of have it on because you're going to watch it live, and it's just on in the background, and you got the little panel there with Booker T and whatnot, and these little celebrity guests that they trot up there to, expose that they don't really know anything about wrestling. If you're into that kind of stuff, and they used to have matches on there too. The whole idea of it was be like, here's a match, and if you here's a match on the free thing, and if you buy the pay-per-view, then you'll see more matches just like this. One of my favorite memorable ones was like the one where it was like, think about this for a pre-show match: Steve Austin versus Yokozuna, and that's the one where Yokozuna climbed up to do the bonsai drop, and he broke the rope and fell and Steve Austin pinned him. Yeah, like that was a pre-show once.
And
You
this
could have
was-
watched
this
that.
was-
You could have watched that while you were on the TV Guide channel, and all those shows are scrolling up. And in the corner, in the little corner, you see Yokozuna break the ropes and fall into the ring. Yeah, you could have seen that. Now they just no more matches. They moved that stuff to SmackDown. Andrew the Giant. That's a total rib on the fans too. Like having Madcap Moss have his name get etched in that trophy. Like he's even going to be around next year. It's oh yeah. I'm proud of you. This is just like your sobriety. I hope the pre-shows is another thing that you can stay on the
I
wagon
guess,
for.
yeah. It's this awakening now that I'm seeing the world through these new eyes. Here. I am done with pre-shows. They have fooled me for all these years of my fandom. At 42 years old, I'm making a stance. I am done with pre-shows. You've had me for, 2+ decades, 3 decades, whatever the hell here.
You know what you got to do? You have to have a son, right, that watches wrestling too. And what I did was, I wasn't watching the pre-show. I was at work. I was watching the entire event, both WrestleManias at work. And I texted Aiden. I said, Aiden, do me a favor, okay? Text me if there's a match during the pre-show because I'm not going to be watching. So I made the kid watch both nights of the pre-show to make sure that he could tell me if there was a match. Never texted me back until the show started.
Someone call 411 Kids and report Big Ray right now.
What?
They can poor Aiden sit through 2 hours of that damn pre-show. So no business going forward, but we finally get to the main dish here. We've got night one, WrestleMania. Real quick, I don't know what the hell they were doing with America the Beautiful. I've never heard of those guys. I don't know what a country rocker is. I don't know why they went overboard to say we're in the great state of Texas here, but from the heart of Georgia or whatever the hell they put over. I mean, that was just terrible. Night 2 was great on that, but okay, so we get into the action here. I was kind of looking forward to this one. I was having a little bit of fun. I enjoy Boogs and Nakamura taking on the Usos. The Usos on that run, that incredible championship reign right now. Unfortunately, inside this one, a little mishap to get things going here for WrestleMania. Boogs going down with a legit injury, and that knee looked wicked as hell. Cuts this thing short. They only get about 6.5 minutes of the action. And on the Smack Attack yesterday, and Money informed me that the word on the street was that they had to cut this thing by like 10 minutes to get home. And of course, Boogs looks like, I don't even want to try to pronounce whatever the hell happened there to him, Ray, if you got that handy. But that picture, the knee looks wicked. It looks like he's going to be out 6 to 12 months. They're going to figure out exactly how the extent of that after they can get him under the knife this week.
I'm going to jump in. When I was watching this match, first and foremost, I truly believe now after the fact that Boogs and Nakamura were supposed to win. I think they were supposed to be given the titles.
I was going to ask you guys this. What did you think was supposed to happen?
That's number one. Number 2, when he tried to lift both guys, and I saw the direction his knee went, immediately, I knew it wasn't fake. And then there was the instance where, again, guys, and we're watching this because we have to analyze this. There's an instance where you can kind of see the gentleman discussing in the ring to finish. Like, all right, what are we gonna do now? You know what I mean? So, yeah. And it was a shorter match. I feel bad for the kid, man. That guy. So remember I told you, Rick, and I think I told the vet off air at some point in juncture, whatever, days ago, or whatever, that I haven't watched a fucking day of Monday Night Raw and very little SmackDown. So what I did was I was basically coming into this like a new fan. And my God, that guy Boogs, I haven't watched much of him. This guy looked like a jacked version of who's the guy that sings "We Are the Champion"?
Freddie Mercury.
He looked like a jacked Freddie freaking Mercury. This guy has money all over him, and to see him go down that way made me sad.
So he looked like Freddie Mercury without AIDS?
Dude, oh. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, what the fuck just happened?
What do you mean what happened? What are you, blind? Jesus!
Did we get taken off the air?
We're still on for now, so if you want to get any more shit in.
But anywho, so that's I thought it was a good match up to that point. I feel bad for this kid, man. Boogs. So 6 to 10 weeks, you're saying?
Oh no, 6 to 12 months.
12 months?
Yes.
Oh my
It's
God.
a quadriceps to patella tendon tear.
All right, Gorilla Monsoon. It's the back gorilla.
The external occipital protuberance.
And it's the back gorilla. That's Jesse Ventura. I can't do him. By the way, Killer Cross does an amazing Jesse the Body Ventura. You ever seen that video?
Just released. Just out there making the rounds now.
Yeah, okay. Just putting it out there. But anyway, Vet, what did you think of the match, man?
Well, there wasn't much match to think of. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if this was a work injury at first, like when it first happened, because I didn't really see his knee. But yeah, after everything went down, I was just kind of like, okay, so did they have to? Obviously, they're going to call an audible. So we'll never know if the Usos were really going to go over. Judging by the way some of this WrestleMania was booked, it's completely believable that they could have gotten all this hyped up and then just still had the Usos go over. So that part, we never know. But they definitely had to retain after this, because you're not going to put the belts on a guy who right now just is on one leg. And that is one of the, sorry, I'm not trying to kick anybody when they're down, but it's just scientific biological fact that when you do a lot of steroids, your body can't keep up with all the muscle that you're putting on, and it's easier for injuries like this to happen. So you're way too strong and you think you can lift two fucking guys, and guess what, there's no amount of chemicals that you can ingest to make your tendons and ligaments stronger. They're actually going to get weaker because they're working twice, 3 times, 4 times as hard. So there's that for anybody that's listening, that's thinking about it. Doctor supervision, please.
Any irony in that's also the leg that they were using to sell the fake gimmick to get them the match.
And that's
where he was presenting that injury to get the match with the Usos, to get the match for WrestleMania.
Go ahead, Vet. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that's probably where it all came from, because he probably did have a legitimate injury, and then they worked that injury into the story, and then because it's not the first time he's been hurt, and so they probably worked the injury into the story, and he thought he was fully recovered from it, and turns out maybe not.
Just like Buckshot Kid, just like Fat Heath. For those who watched the Impact Attack,
the shoot becomes the work and returns to a shoot.
It's
right.
Now. Let me ask you guys a question, man. If you're booking this match, okay? If you're the pencil, all right? If you're the guy that agenting, whatever, I can't say that word. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Being the agent of this match, and this guy has a fucking injury, do you still go with that move? Or do you think it's something that he came up like, all right, I'm going to prove that my leg is not hurt, and I'm just going to fucking do it in the match? I'm talking about Madcap. Not Madcap. What the fuck is it? Boogs.
Boogs.
At one point, I thought those two guys were the same people.
I could see that.
Madcap and Boots. They would make an amazing tag team,
I think, to your point there, I think it's just what Vet said is, yeah, he's somebody is so full of themselves, for better or worse there. Oh, I can do this. And they don't realize the extent of where their body truly is at.
Well, also, when you're in the gym and you just lift that stationary bar with that amount of weight on it, you're used to that. It's a controlled up and down movement. Right. You got 2 human beings. It's different. The weight's not dead. It's live. It's moving. There's balance issues. It's a whole confluence of things that you don't want that kind of thing to happen. Plus, he does have a ton of charisma. Boogs does, and he just so happens to also be a strong man. He's also a former 24/7 champion Joe Average of Old Spice, but don't worry about that too much right now. But yeah, so you don't really be needing to do these feats of strength when you've got this whole other gimmick that you're Jack Freddie Mercury. You know what I mean? So you want to, and you want to do something cool. I get wanting to do something cool, but these things can happen.
And I think a lot of people thought it was part of the show. I mean, let's be real. Frank Spicklebarrass putting it out there also. He thought it was a work.
They did sell the whole wrapping the leg thing and unwrapping the leg. You didn't maybe see that, Ray, but the reason, they showed on the recap. Yeah. They showed on the recap, right?
Right.
Which is another reason not to watch the pre-show, because they're going to show you the recaps on the pre-show. Then you got to watch them during the show. So another reason not to watch. But yeah.
Again, rib on me. Again, I had to watch that recap 7 times. But
you and Aiden watching this stupid pre-show together.
At least now, I wish I would have known, because I'm not going to be around anymore for those pre-shows. I wish I would have known. I could have texted with him, and I could have shared in his misery during that. But
He's fine.
But-
I'm sure he really wasn't even paying attention. He's probably playing with fucking Roblox or whatever the fuck video games he's doing.
Well, our match number 2, we get going. It's been a very personal grudge match. I was, a lot of fans may be down on this match. I was looking forward to it. I, wholeheartedly believe 2 of the better performers inside of WWE. They were doing the best with what they could inside of this program creatively. Drew McIntyre, Happy Corbin, had a little bit of a teasing, put some dissension, turmoil between Corbin and Madcap over the last couple of days here. They come out even inside the match. They're working together, but, it's maybe not completely on the same page. McIntyre goes over here. Maybe the real theatrics come post-match. We finally get what's the sword? Is it Andrew? What does he call that thing?
Yes, it's Andrew the Giant. He calls the sword Andrew the Giant.
Andrew the
Sword
Giant.
of Omen.
Hey, we finally get a payoff of bits from the sword.
Oh, God.
We're cutting ropes. He finally hit something by swinging that thing around. Big Ray, we'll start with you here on this one. The spectacle that was the grudge match. Drew McIntyre, Happy Corbin. What'd you think here?
It was one of the so at WrestleMania, we got like what 6 hours of WrestleMania this year? About
Rough 8 hours,
All right.
8.5
all right.
of actual WrestleMania.
So in the WrestleMania, I always there's 2 matches. There are always 2 matches that I really don't give 2 shits about, and this was one of them. I did watch some of it. I wasn't really paying attention to it until I saw him pull out the Sword of Omen to give him sight beyond sight, and then he fucking cut the goddamn rope. That was so stupid. I'm sorry, guys. And let me just preface by saying, and Vet, I preface a lot, right, Vet? That's what I do.
It's a New York thing, yeah.
New York thing. I believe this is one of the best WrestleManias we've had in years. I thoroughly enjoyed 95% of this WrestleMania. Like, I really fucking like this WrestleMania.
But this was in the 5%.
This was in that 5%. Couldn't give a shit about Drew McIntyre. Couldn't give a shit. And I apologize, guys, if you don't hear the jackhammering outside, right? At all? All right, beautiful. God damn, man. Billy Ray Valentine bought me this Rode mic, by the way, as a gift for my wedding. So this
Continue with the WrestleMania story.
So I tell you, this mic, the way. Oh, sorry, get out. That's why we have the vet.
We still have 7 more hours.
Once again, just being that vet, man. Just doing what vets do.
Anyway, so anywho, yeah, I couldn't give a shit. Does that answer your question? This was in that 5%. I could not care less.
Well,
then
Ray, how do you feel? Because we'll share some of his knowledge that he shared with us, even though he's not here. He's here with us in spirit. Hamin asked the question when the match was going on. How do you feel for Drew McIntyre? You've just gone from pretty much WrestleMania main events to the popcorn match within a matter of years here.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Vet.
Yeah. Well, everybody that's involved in this should be embarrassed, whether it's their fault for being embarrassed or somebody else's fault for them being embarrassed. But everyone involved in this should be embarrassed. Drew McIntyre should be embarrassed for not saying, no, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not carrying this sword around. He's in the position that he can say that. And I've said it multiple times, whatever they could do to punish him for saying no to this creative couldn't be worse than doing the creative. So he should speak up for himself. Like you're not gonna make me carry the sword around. You're not gonna be naming it after my mother. You're not gonna do any of that for your stupid bullshit. If you want to put a sword in, a little toy sword in with my little action figure, you can do that without me doing this on TV.
True.
You know what I mean? You don't have to disgrace my family. Baron Corbin, like, what needs to be said about Baron Corbin? This guy will never get over, not at any degree, not in any fashion. He's not entertaining. I don't care what anybody says. Nothing against the guy.
But he's happy.
Again, because he's trying his best, right? And I maintain that I don't think anybody could do anything with what they're giving him. And he's much less capable than a lot of the people they have. So that's already like two, that's a handicap on him. Yeah. And then Madcap Moss, a guy that, you look at, this is a real athlete that made the transition to wrestling. He's on year 7 of his Austin 8-year run right now, but it seems like he just now came out of nowhere, and this is what they give him. And that's what they think of him. So yes, he is the Andrew the Giant Battle Royal winner, and you'll never be able to take that away from him. But you know, this is the match you're going to be in if your name is Madcap Moss. It's not going to be in the biggest WrestleMania match ever, Brock Lesnar versus Madcap Moss, or, you know what I mean, the title unification match with Madcap Moss. You will never see Madcap Moss in anything resembling a serious money-making program in the WWE. And I don't mean the guy, I mean the gimmick. You'll never see Madcap Moss in this. This is the match that he's going to be slated for his entire career as long as he's in this gimmick. So yes, 5% embarrassed. That's all there is to say about it, really.
Yeah, so you could say this too.
Yeah, pal.
That laying it out there. That was the nicest "you suck" that I've ever heard.
Right? That's what he does. The vet's like, hey Ray, you know, you do a decent job of it. You know, the vet, he'll try to put me over and shit, but it's just him tearing me apart every week.
All right, gentlemen, we've got this is, you know, it was a nice start to WrestleMania, but for me, night one, this is where it really picked up. This is where it felt like a big event, big time. The crowd really started coming alive. They were really into this match. We have got our first celebrity sighting. I actually enjoyed a little bit of the build to this one. I think, you know, that they kind of pushed some things at times, but for, you know, dealing with what we deal with in WWE creative today, grading on the curve, this worked for me. We've got The Miz and Logan Paul taking on the Mysterios. I really enjoyed the match top to bottom. I love the heat that the heels were getting. I love that they were able at the end to steal the payoff, if you will. I thought Logan Paul went out there, worked his ass off. Of course, I don't know why people were so surprised. I mean, this guy is a professional athlete. He's a top-notch entertainer, social media, you know, phenom. Vet, your thoughts here on our first sample of the celebrity for this year's WrestleMania and the tag match as a whole.
Yeah, so one of the things that occurred to me as like a running theme for this WrestleMania is because, like Ray was saying, he enjoyed it so much. I was thinking as I'm watching this now, if I hadn't watched the 3 months leading up to this and I just watched this show and all I had to go on was like their quick, you know, 2-minute packages catching everybody up on stuff, I would think that this was like a legitimately serious wrestling company almost. You know what I mean? Despite the fact that they bring in celebrities and stuff. Because you're not seeing how terrible, awful, non-connecting with the crowd the week-to-week television is and how many segments fall flat, make no sense. The formatting is bizarre and schizophrenic. This WrestleMania makes the WWE look good. It's like they know that the eyes are going to be on them this one night, and they can't just translate this to their weekly programming.
That's so funny.
That's the bigger issue, because we sit here over this weekend. You see how excited all these fans are. If they could even get that 25% of the effort that we saw these 2 nights from week to week, how amazing the programming could be, and how people will be hooked. These promos, and one of, you know, my drawbacks from this WrestleMania is the time spent on the promos, but they're tremendously put together. They're amazing. You would think that this is one of the most exciting forms of entertainment athletics in the world on those 2-minute promos. But, you know, like Vet and I, we sit through this shit each and every week, where Big Ray has been able to remove himself and kind of now enjoy it in the moment.
I watch NXT.
For a sense. You get NXT, but
well, so and with that said, so like the problem is that during those builds, they're already giving us the payoffs. You know what I mean? Like, we've already seen Logan Paul put hands on Rey Mysterio. So this is the first time it should happen, but instead we've already seen it. So the people are a little less excited than they would be, you know? And I will agree that, you know, I enjoyed this from top to almost bottom because the finish is a huge fuck you to not only Rey Mysterio, who's got to be the worst treated legend that the WWE has ever had.
We're talking about Undertaker getting all the respect, and now we
right. And Rey Mysterio has just been doing his thing and is just as over as he's ever been, and he continues to just, you know, have this shit spooned into his mouth week after week for the sake of his son. Like, that's going to go any better, but he's doing it in the hopes that his son is going to have like a good, memorable career. So that's admirable that Rey Mysterio is doing this, and they just keep shitting on him. And this is another one. Like, how do you not put the Mysterios over in this match, especially considering what's going to happen after it? Because the way they do it is they beat Rey Mysterio, then Miz and Logan Paul are celebrating. Then the Miz, for no reason whatsoever, turns on Logan Paul just because I don't even know why. I can't even make sense of that. But it just happens now. What really should happen is the Mysterios beat Logan Paul like they should, because he's not quite on this level. He's impressive for an outsider, not quite a professional wrestler, loses the match. Of course, now Miz has a reason. If you want to hit the skull-crushing finale on him out of nowhere, then that's a reason. Like, you lost this match for me. Fuck you. That's how it makes sense. And everybody goes home happy because the Mysterios won. Happy moment. Logan Paul got beat up. Happy moment. Everybody goes home happy, and we just move on into the next thing. Instead, they're just like, we know you're on the cover of the video game, Ray, and you're selling us a lot of copies, but fuck you. You're losing. And that's what we got here instead. So that is one thing I would have changed about this. But Logan Paul was very impressive for a non-wrestler. It seemed like he did every single move perfectly. It's his in between. He just doesn't have that spatial awareness of being in the ring and stuff. But other than that, everything he did looked very safe considering.
Yeah.
So props on that. But Ray?
Well, I was in the chat. I have a group chat with myself, Billy Ray Valentine, and my co-producer of the year, Colin Weiss, on Ridiculously Random Podcast. Anyway, and Billy Ray, who doesn't give many props to many people, was just in love with Logan Paul. He thought the kid did a fantastic job, and I agree. And I have to say this as well about WrestleMania as a whole, before I forget to say it later on as we're reviewing this. This was one of the very first WrestleManias in a long time that I remember that there was no lull in the crowd. Like, the crowd was excited night one. Hold on, hear me out.
A couple dips.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it was a consistent, like, there was popping and laughing and smiling and people going crazy consistently for the 6 or 7 hours of wrestling we had over 2 nights. This was a very good match. I enjoyed the match. I agree with you, Vet. I do think that they treat Rey Mysterio like shit, but Rey Mysterio has a son who refuses to go to the gym, apparently.
Just one thing on that real quick, because I see a comment in the chat. Did they really need to put Ray over? No, they don't need to put Ray over. They could put Dominic over, but Logan Paul has to go under. That's the thing. He gets the shine and of being there and doing the moves and impressing everybody and making us hate him for being good, and then he loses, and then we get, okay, well, at least he lost. That is the psychology of this. I don't understand what's so difficult about that.
Right. And what I think is going to happen with this whole thing with Logan Paul, don't be surprised if there will be some build to SummerSlam where Logan Paul will get a tag team partner. It'll be Miz, and who's the guy that the Miz was?
Well, now they've turned on each other, so it looks like they're going to build towards Miz and Paul in some kind of program, or does Miz balls up and go to the boxing ring?
Who? No, you better not. Who is Miz like celebrating with in the crowd? Who's that guy?
I just thought it was some dude.
All right,
I'm waiting for the announcer to tell me.
Okay, I thought he was.
They tell you every other damn person.
But let me finish my.
I think it was just some dude.
All right, some random dude. Okay, so rando. So anyway, so Miz is gonna obviously get a partner. Maybe he brings Johnny Morrison back. Who the fuck knows? But it'll be the Miz and somebody.
He's got his boy Cody in the company now.
Sure, but that's not gonna happen. It's gonna be Jake Paul and Logan Paul. Let me tell you something. That kid, I don't know how long he's been training, but and I was dying to hear what the vet thought about this match. I was dying to hear whether the vet thought Logan Paul did a good job, because I thought the kid did a great job. Again, Billy Ray Valentine thought the kid did a great job. And you used an operative word there, safe. He seemed to, the suplexes, everything that he did looked great. I understand what you're saying, that he was a little confused with this, how to manage his awareness of where he was in the ring, so on and so forth. But other than that, I think the kid, he sold well. He pandered to the crowd well. When he got hit with that skull-crushing finale after the match, he kind of gave it like, what the fuck just happened kind of thing. It was just, the kid did a great job. And I genuinely think, and Vet, I'm asking you, Vet, all right, tell me if I'm wrong. I think if this kid made this his business to really train hard and be part of this business, I think he'd do all right. What do you think?
Yeah, of course. But he's not going to do that. So
He'd be taking a major pay cut.
and he just showed he doesn't need
Word.
to.
No.
He just showed he doesn't need to. Hey, I can just walk in here and do this better than a lot of you. You know, I could do it better than everybody on AEW Dark. So why don't I just do it sometimes and then do everything else I want to do at the same time and not go on your stupid road schedule?
And you know, that was one of the most telling things about this WrestleMania is it exposed a major problem inside of WWE. Look at who we had here. You got Paul, Knoxville, and McAfee, who is part of their family, but he is a celebrity. He's there because of his celebrity status. Not only did those three shine in the ring and were more impressive than those that we've seen on this show, especially many that are just within the company that didn't make the card, that are in other major companies, not just athletically, but the charisma, the character, the connection. That should be alarming for professional wrestling, that those on the outside are doing professional wrestling better than professional wrestling.
Well, it's not professional wrestling anymore. I think somebody put a comment in the chat. This is sports entertainment.
It's always been that. It's always been about showmanship and making a connection and drawing people in emotionally and storytelling. These people that want to get over, I was going back and forth with Money yesterday about this, and regular people. Well, match of the night. Take your match of the night, stick it up your ass.
Oof.
Suplexes and headlocks aren't selling tickets in lines. It's personas and stories.
Will you stop?
RBV's telling people to stick things up their ass. Who do you think you are, a wrestler doing a promo on television?
Jesus
Come on
Christ. now. RVV's the Danhausen.
What are people going to be talking about? They're talking about the Stone Cold moments. We're talking about these celebrity involvements. We're not talking about a 5-star classic or some BS like that.
Oh, true.
Well, I mean, okay, but at the same time, it is still WrestleMania, and you got to have some of that too. You have to have some credibility. Otherwise, what are you watching? All you're watching is people parade around oiled up in their underwear. You have to have some reason why we're even here in the first place. And the fact that, you call yourself the company that's sports entertainment and not wrestling, and you call yourself the company that's making all this money and turning higher profits than you ever have and bringing in all these celebrities and everything. And when it was pandemic wrestling, what did you do? You had matches in empty arenas because that's all you fucking know. So that exposed right there that they're not the entertainers they think they are. So wrestling will always be important, and it's going to be a cornerstone of the business. It's not maybe... you can't only just have headlocks and suplexes, but you have to have the foundation of what you're still doing so that these things are more special. That's what I'm going to get into when we talk about night 2.
I agree with you there. I mean, it is the foundation, but this is a variety show. So, just flat out chastise, that you have these other elements in it, to me, is where the nonsense is at, where everyone that wants to be the pure switch should completely be this. No, and I agree. It shouldn't just all be over the top and zaniness, circus. And you need all of that.
And if you have like to Mike Martin's point about Lesnar and Reigns are credible, yeah, but they're also on the same show with Madcap Moss. So it's like when you have credible things, it makes the stuff that's supposed to be entertainment and fun stand out as more like out of place sometimes. They just have to, they're not mutually exclusive, but you have to do a better job of interweaving the entertainment with the sports. That's all it is. You have to have a legitimate sports presentation. No one ever watches the Super Bowl and was like, yeah, I'm not that into the Super Bowl because, Tom Brady didn't set Patrick Mahomes on fire or whatever, like that.
Yeah, but to that
would be awesome, by the way.
But how many people are talking about the halftime show? That is the difference than what we're getting from the traditional sports aspect of football. That is the entertainment value.
Well,
that they're looking for something crazy and over the top. They're looking for a titty to pop out. They're looking to someone's going to, drop some different lyrics or something like. Is someone going to cross a line? You do have all that in the Super Bowl.
A little bit.
You got the commercials that are there.
It's just a concert.
The commercials that are there for comic relief. There is a lot of those elements that play into the Super Bowl.
Yeah, just not in the football game. See the difference?
Well, I watch it on.
You don't have
Nickelodeon.
Logan Paul playing quarterback. For the
I
Bucks.
watch the Super Bowl on Nickelodeon where they're sliming people after touchdowns. So that's what I'm watching. Speaking of credibility, Vet, we got the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch. What did this do for the women's division in WWE?
Who, me?
Yes, we'll go to you,
That's
Vet.
you. That's the vet.
What did it do for the women's division?
What'd you think? I mean, was this a lot of people were praising this thing? They were happy with it. One of the better outings. I thought better outings. I've been pretty harsh on Becky in the past. I thought it was a better outing for her.
Well, I love Becky. I'm not going to apologize for that. And my God, how hot was she on this night? Well, how hot was Bianca on this night? How hot was were the two ladies in this match? That's first.
Old methy Lynch there. She looked like a villain.
Well,
I knew I should not like her. But my problem is I don't know if it's in her mind, something with after the baby. She's lost so much weight. Her look has transformed so much. She doesn't look like a pro athlete to me anymore.
Nah, she still looks like I disagree with that. I think she looks great. I think she looked phenomenal. And I'll tell you something. I'm not a big fan of Becky Lynch, but when that woman walked into the ring and she freaking took off her whatever she was wearing and everything, and she had the fucking crazy eye makeup and the new haircut, bro, I was like, that's a star. Like she gave off a big persona type feeling about her, man.
A big time persona, would you say?
Yes, a big time persona. Big time.
Right.
But Vet, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, right from the entrances, you got two people that look like stars. Bianca had that sweet ass drum line,
beautiful,
like playing her music.
Except for did you catch this, Vet? The bullshit. When it sounded like they were chanting when they were coming around.
Oh yeah, I didn't quite catch that, but yeah. So I mean, so you had the big presentation, you had the big match. I didn't. Again, this is one of those ones where it's like if you watch the build to this, it's like really this kind of sucks. But actually in the match, I really liked the match they had. There was a couple of things that they went for they didn't quite get, but I thought they covered those pretty well. Yeah. I really did like the match, and I think Becky did a great job. I think Bianca did a great job. I really don't have anything bad to say about it.
This was a big moment for Belair, right?
This is match of the night, and that's saying a lot for night one. Bro, Belair that girl is so fucking awesome, and I mean that, man. She's just like everything from. And when I look at a competitor, you look at every little thing about them, the way they come across your TV screen, because this is a TV show, and she just has that star quality. Everything from her look, her strength, her smile, and I had a buddy, my friend 8-Track Brown, and he's getting on my case, shitting on the match because he's in the AEW mark, saying that they made mistakes. And number one, and people need to understand this, a great wrestling match is not going to have no mistakes, and if it does have some mistakes, and a credit to by the way, credit to the guys calling the match, because there was one instance where Becky did the whole, I think she was trying to do a off the second rope or top rope or whatever, she was trying to do the whole gimmick where she landed, where she flipped on her and her foot actually hit Bianca Belair right in the face. They didn't no-sell it. They fucking said, oh, no, she tried to do that. She did like a rolling front kick or whatever the fuck it was, and it landed right on the eye and shit, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was a mistake, but they went with it, man, and those girls just beat the living hell out of each other, man, and there was so much. It's something that we don't see a lot, and it was just like a ton of passion between these two girls. Like
the crowd. Listen to those crowd were into it, right?
Dude, it was like I'm watching this match, okay? And I'm like, it's very rare for me to be drawn in like, oh, is she going to win? Oh, is she going to win? Oh, she fucking kicked out. I was going crazy watching this match, and just like, you could see that these two young ladies were fully invested in this story, and they told a fantastic story. Storytelling is a lot to me, especially with pro wrestling. But on top of that, with the athletics, the strength, and everything else that they did, man, bro, this was one of the top matches in WrestleMania between night one and night two. I really enjoyed this match. It was fantastic, man. And I cannot emphasize enough, and I'll go to you, Rick. I cannot emphasize enough on how much of a star Bianca Belair is.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
You know?
She should have been light years ahead of where she's at right now. I think one of the coolest moments there is you compare the images of her winning last year, and it was a look of, almost of a fan. Oh my God, I'm here. This year it was a look of, this is my time. I've arrived. I mean, she looked like a champion at the podium, accepting her championship, the trophy. Elizabeth talking about, which one of the things that did get me, her braid annoys her. She wanted to cut that off. I was surprised they didn't play more to the hair that we saw.
Yeah, no hair whipping.
There's another instance of us getting a payoff before we get the payoff match. Like we've already seen the hair whipping and the hair cutting and the attempted hair homicides, and like we've already seen all this, and we haven't even had the match yet.
Right.
So that's
and it completely dismissed. There was a couple of times they teased it in the match and they just went away from it. I do want to shake up the card a little bit here, guys. We're talking about a great outing with the women. Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question, guys, real quick before we move on? Is Bianca at a point in her career where you think she can get rid of the hair, that gimmick? Does she need it anymore?
No, it identifies with.
Yeah, don't.
It's a unique look. You got to keep it there. If they would have done something to cut it, it would have been a huge mistake.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's unique
one other.
to her.
Yeah, one other thing too before we move on completely. Before I forget about thinking about the mistakes you were talking about, the kind of the things that didn't quite go right. Those aren't the reasons matches are bad. Matches aren't bad because you make a mistake in the match. You know what I mean? The matches are bad because you don't put the match together or don't put together a match that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see that later. And as far as Bianca, like, this is a case of like, she's a star and she's arrived, but leading up to this, and this was a payoff to something that happened last year at SummerSlam. That's where this started. But everything after that, that's not involved Becky Lynch, has completely minimized and marginalized Bianca Belair up to this point, and then they just hand her back to Becky to get the shine on because Becky can do it. Like, not only can Becky do it in the terms of like, well, now you're in a higher profile because you're not wrestling Doudrop, you're wrestling Becky Lynch. Not just that, but just in the ring, Becky's able to like get Bianca what she needs in the match. That's what sometimes I think fans don't give the credit to Becky for being able to do. She's not the most, she's not like a friggin' Bret Hart in the ring, but her mind, the way it works and the way she's trying to help get these women over so that they can be at that level, that they're not doing for Bianca. They should be doing it for Bianca. It shouldn't all be on Becky. But they make Bianca seem like an afterthought, and she just main evented WrestleMania last year. You know what I mean? It's like,
you completely hit the reset button on it right now because
the
failed year.
Yeah, now it's like, okay, give it to Becky again. Like, so you got to give props to both of them, but especially Becky for being able to like have to deal with that as well. Like, okay, I've got to get her over and keep myself over to a degree. I've got to maintain my heat and give her the shine, and not take it away from her, and she did that.
Yep.
Now let's shake up the card here a little bit in the run order to stay on topic, though. So much praise for Belair and Becky, maybe not so much for the other ladies that were at it this evening. We have got the SmackDown Championship. My girl, the precious Shar taking on Ronda Rousey. Not making excuses here, but I felt bad for these ladies for where they were placed on the card. You've got a late night Saturday. This thing is running long. The show's running so long, we got a match that was bumped. We lost the whole New Day tag match because they were running out of time here. This is one of those moments, Ray, when I felt the crowd they were drained. They were ready for Stone Cold. This match lost them. They let them go out there and go damn near 20 minutes, probably 10 minutes too long inside of this thing, 18 and some change. Inside the match itself, there was some stumbles here and there, but as Vet was saying, it's about how to recover. I thought they did pretty well in this thing. Ray, we'll go to you here with the other ladies. As much as you loved Belair and Becky, your thoughts here on Rousey and Shar.
And here's the problem. and I'm gonna start this sentence off with here's the problem. The problem is after you have a match like Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch, like where do you I found myself comparing these two matches. And by the way, I'm gonna put this up here for you guys. I don't know if you guys saw this during the Charlotte Flair match, as you can clearly see a nip slip there. Looks like a pepperoni falling out of someone's pocket. But anyway, I'm gonna put that there for Vickery. Vic, I'm gonna send that to you, bro.
Is that a pepperoni in your pocket, or are you happy to see me?
An HD version. Well, both. But all jokes aside, man. And there was also a lot of talk backstage that Ronda Rousey was pissed off because it's all bullshit. It's the same. I'm sure there's the same people that told what's his face, Dave Meltzer, that Cody Rhodes was gonna back out of his fucking his match. Shut the fuck up. Stop it. Would you stop? I had a tough time. Enjoying this match because I kept comparing it to the other girls.
And that too. I mean,
it's
fair. It's fair to make the comparison. That one was so hot. You got the both women's championships there. How is it going to stack up against that first hot match? And you got to admit too a little bit, Ray. It's getting late, and you're like, give me Stone Cold.
But you know what though? Again, the crowd was hot. This was.
I thought they were dead for this one.
Well, this is the thing. Remember I told you there's a 5% of WrestleMania I wasn't really invested in, and this is part of that 5%. So that's already 2 matches. In night 1, night 2 kicked ass. I think we'll talk about that soon. But yeah, man, this was not great, not great. And Ronda Rousey, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Do you guys feel that maybe she's lost a little of that luster? You know, like it's the baddest woman on the planet. Are you? Really?
When we look at all the special attractions that are brought into this, and Ronda's had a previous run, she still has that special attraction flair to her. Yeah. No pun intended. Probably the least shine for me. I agree with you, Ray, out of all the other names.
And honestly, I think the right person went over. I think putting Charlotte Flair, because everybody expected freaking Ronda Rousey to get to WrestleMania and win this match. I wasn't 100% sure, but I think Charlotte Flair was the right pick. And where do we move from here? Who knows? But this match was, you're right, Rick. This was one of those matches that the fans were like, all right, well, we've seen an awesome fucking kick-ass women's match for a title. We already had that. So,
but where do you think the lady stacked up here?
Well, first, before I forget, did we skip over some stuff to get to this?
I just
want to shake up the order.
I just moved up one match. We're good. We'll get to Cody and Seth here. That was in between.
Okay.
While we were on the topic of the ladies, I just want to go.
Right. Well, that's fine. So the problem with this is, again, if you've been watching week to week, the lead up to this was absolute dog shit. The women did not care. Neither one of them. I don't know. Like, I already was on record as saying that the money match was obviously Becky and Ronda, and they decided to not do that for whatever reason and give us a match that we've seen at least 2 times before and make it seem like it's the first time that we're ever seeing it. So,
you know what's so bad? You mentioned the build. I can't even remember what the build was, and I don't even remember those other matches.
Right.
That is true.
They had a match at Survivor. Well, Charlotte was in the match because of Becky and the busted nose. The busted nose that everybody says got Becky Lynch over, even though she was already over before that. But that's the bloody face from Nia Jax's punch. Becky chose her replacement because she was concussed and could not compete in the match, and she chose Charlotte Flair for Survivor Series. So that's the singles match. Then they had the triple threat match at WrestleMania. So that's 2. 2 times we've seen Ronda and Charlotte lock up. Now this is time number 3. So I guess if you have a short memory, it works. But the build-up sucked. And like you said, you didn't remember any of it because it's most of them going out there and just reciting boring promos that they were handed, and they were probably like, Charlotte's been kind of checked out a little bit. Ronda's definitely been checked out a little bit. However, as I mentioned earlier, when you don't watch those shows and you just come in to watch this fresh, you would not have been able to tell how bad the buildup was because these two ladies went at it. This was, I like this about as much as the Becky and Bianca match, but it was a totally different style match.
True.
Like you're talking about two grapplers going in and trying to win with science, and it did not look pretty, but it did not look like they were making mistakes. It looked like they were trying to get stuff, and it wasn't. This looked more like what a real fight would look like. The other one was a classic traditional pro wrestling match. This was more like a hybrid, MMA style. And it looked vicious, and it looked like these two did not like each other, even though they probably are just fine with each other. But that's when the bell rings, all those shitty promos and dumbass produced segments where they try to recreate the whole, fighting in the parking lot shit, like all that goes out the window. And now all you have is this, so that when you go back on Peacock in 5 years and say, hey, let me check out that match, you won't remember all that other. You just see the match in a vacuum. And you can enjoy it for what it is, which looked like a struggle. It looked like a contest. I thought they did great. Not a fan of Charlotte going over, but I'm not a fan of Charlotte going under either. This was one of those ones where I didn't really want either of these women to take a loss here. So it was kind of unfortunate that they did it the way they did. But the way they did it was fucking sick, where Charlotte comes in with that boot right to the face. And it looks like it knocked her out just long enough to get pinned. And then wakes up like, what the fuck happened, right? Like that was probably one of the best individual moments of the entire show, just in terms of the timing of that. Where Charlotte turns or Ronda turns around right into Charlotte's foot, and she got her. So that was awesome to me. I like that finish. But I just didn't like Ronda going under here, but that's fine. That's just my personal opinion. Objectively, I think these women worked their ass off. They outdid their creative. They outdid their build. And I think they definitely held up. The thing that I really didn't like about this match was that it was on this night, because why would you put both? Why would you when you look at night 2 and it's like, you want to talk about a multiverse. This is like a multi-match multiverse of like everybody else that's the garbage gets piled into night 2 and triple threats and 4-ways and other stuff like that. Like you couldn't have swapped out this one for one of those matches and had like a women's title on each night.
Agreed.
And
that's where I say
a little fishy with that.
I actually like this match better than the Belair and Becky match. I like that, as Vet said, this thing you want to talk about having a realness to it. I like when my wrestling has that raw feel. I mean, how many fights do we see where everything goes perfectly planned?
This is YouTube, Ray.
I'll
take it down.
I was saying, I'll keep my hands up where everyone can see them when you get. But,
sure, please.
But I like that raw, that edginess that we got from this match. I enjoyed it. I just felt bad because of the placement. As you said, you've already had one women's championship match up there. And at this point, if you were the sucker like me, you've been sitting here for already 6+ hours and you're waiting for that glass to shatter. You're ready for Stone Cold. They didn't do him a lot of favors, but a good match.
What match would you have put in this place? Where would you? I mean, I agree with Vet. It made no sense that they put 2 women's world title matches on the same damn card.
You could have shaken a bunch of things around. It was, again, this thing should have been moved to the other night, and then you bring something over. You find a way, you squeeze something, you eliminate some BS I don't know, to maybe get the buffer to work in the New Day Sheamus crew tag match somewhere in there. I don't know.
And then it came after what we're about to talk.
Yes,
about now.
A big moment, what a lot of people are revering as match of the night, a huge moment. I got to admit, this surprised me. The reaction absolutely surprised me.
Why?
One of the biggest questions coming in. I was curious as to how many of the, and I guess WrestleMania is the spot for this because this is the bubble of bubble. I mean, you've got the ultimate fans here. Now, going forward, I still question how many of the regular day-to-day going to these live events, Raws and SmackDowns, remember Cody Rhodes, but this was a spectacular return, especially on the grandest stage of them all. Seth Rollins out. He's waiting for his hand selected by Mr. McMahon opponent. Seth out there apparently raped and slaughtered and skinned the Cookie Monster for his ring gear, or raided Becky's closet, whatever the hell he had going on. He's waiting to see who it is. The world's waiting to see who it is. We hit the professional wrestling has more than one family, blah, blah, blah. The place erupts. They hold us there for a moment. You know, is it really going to be him? Are they pulling the swerve on us? But rising up from the stage, Cody Rhodes, place goes crazy. Match itself, they come out swinging, man. They got a lot of shit in here. You know, there's a lot to dissect here. Ray, we'll go to you first. Let's see. Cody's look, Cody's reaction, the reception, the match itself. Give it to us all here, Ray.
So I'm going to walk through my thought process during this whole time. So, again, you know, we knew that he signed with WWE. All right, that was a foregone conclusion. Whether he was going to debut at WrestleMania or not, that was the thing. Card is always subject to change, so I always kept that in my back pocket. And I also kept in my back pocket during this entire thing that WWE never gives us what we really want. You know, we never get what we really want. It's always going to be The Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, so now we have Seth Rollins in the ring, and he's like, come on, money, you know, time is money. And he's doing his whole fucking, you know, he's with the Cookie Monster gimmick on and everything. Takes it off. And I'm like, all right, now this is when he's supposed to do it. Or I'm looking for cues as to when the music's going to hit. Then the lights go off, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And my heart sinks when the lights go off, right? It's the fucking Undertaker. Oh, and then I see the fucking the people with the lights with they're so, oh, god damn, it's Bray Wyatt. God damn, I got swerved, right? Because I was told something else. So now the music hits, right? And the electricity coming through my cellular phone was incredible. And I need to also emphasize on the fact that to all you people that say, oh, you just watch WWE, oh, you just watch AEW, I don't watch AEW, I don't want bullshit. This was the perfect example that we all know. Wrestlers, wrestling fans, WWE fans watch AEW and vice versa. I don't care what anybody says. You're all full of shit if you say you don't, because you know you do. Okay, everybody's singing along with Cody Rhodes' fucking AEW theme song. All right, this is the WWE universe. They were very aware of what was going to happen, okay? So then Cody Rhodes, so then there's a part where the camera, tell me if you guys felt this, cut to Seth Rollins while Cody Rhodes' music is playing. And then Seth Rollins is laughing.
I loved it. I love that cut.
So I'm saying to myself, oh, fuck, it's a swerve. Here comes the Bray Wyatt theme, or here comes the Undertaker theme. Then you see fucking Cody rising up from the fucking ashes, you know? Bro. You know,
and then Seth gets serious as hell.
He got serious. It reminded me of AJ Styles debuting at the Royal Rumble. It reminded me of the Hardy Boys at WrestleMania. I was there live. I had the same feeling when Kofi Kingston actually beat Bryan Danielson for the WWE title, first black heavyweight champion. That crazy weird rush of emotion and shit like that kind of came. I kind of had some of that, man, to be honest with you. And we're going to talk about this match, but I'm interested to hear, Vet, what you felt, what your thought process was when you were seeing all this playing out, the length that they drew it out and everything. I mean, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. Well,
so my advice to anybody who doesn't get to watch WrestleMania live is don't be on social media. Okay, because I don't think I got one surprise out of this WrestleMania because I'd already seen everything, right? So I didn't have the luxury of not knowing what was going to happen and going through Ray's thought process. But I did have the luxury of kind of having a sense of Cody Rhodes and just never going to believe anything he says or anything anybody says until I see it for myself. So until that moment where you hear the music play, even though I saw already people posting pictures and posting interviews with Ariel Helwani and all this other stuff, I'm like, I don't believe it. I'm going to watch myself. I will see it myself. These could have been doctored photos, you know, I don't know. And then I saw it and I was like, okay, he did it. He did it. And taking myself and my personal feelings out of it, but looking at it just from the eyes of the fans who, Ray, I don't necessarily agree with you that the people there in attendance are not the day-to-day fans. They are the super marks. So, of course, they watch AEW. I don't think every single wrestling fan watches it. Most people, like, trust me, I know plenty of...
The viewership number suggests that there's...
Definitely, right? And why should you when you can just go to social media and get everything spoiled for you in an instant? Why make the 2-hour commitment each week, right? So like I get all that, but trust me, I talk to plenty of people who are WWE fans that have no idea what AEW is or who anybody is on them. So that is also a thing. So anyways, but just removing my personal feelings from it, it's a really cool moment because it's like, yes, this is exactly what you didn't think would happen. You would have thought it would have been something not quite right. And even if you referencing the Ariel Helwani, these times where you picture something in your mind and it doesn't quite go how you think it is, maybe almost, but not quite. And this went exactly how I pictured it in my mind, which is a rare thing for the WWE. And it also makes me mad because I think of this and I'm like, you gave Cody exactly what you wanted or exactly what he wanted, despite your reputation and the history of the way you treat people. And it's like, you can't even call Pete Dunne up and just leave his name Pete Dunne. It's okay if you put him in the hat and have him run around with his friends and give him this different gimmick, but does his name have to be Butch? You do all this for Cody and he can't just not be Butch. Like that's something that requires no extra effort on your part to just say your name's Pete Dunne still. They won't do that for him. But they do all this for Cody, like, oh yeah, just come on back. No, sure. No, yeah, of course you can bring your own music. Of course. We do that all the time. We let people use their own music. That always happens.
That was awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
though.
we'll do the entrance just the way you like it, rising up out of the ground. They did take away his entrance music though.
Yes.
So like there was that little difference. But
that shit went away, right?
I think rightly that was a good decision to nix that. I think that was a little overkill, right? Entrance music shouldn't have its own entrance music. But so for that moment and for the fans, they got what they were expecting. They got exactly what they're expecting. They didn't get swerved. It really was Cody. For the people that remember Cody, big moment for him coming back. For the people that don't remember Cody, it felt like a big deal. Like you should know this. Like, oh, I better know who this guy is pretty quick or I'm going to get lost.
That's the important part.
Right. And that's a underrated part of the presentation. When you hear people talk about like, well, Russo says a lot, like you have to remind these people. Bonnie Hammer would say, you have to remind these people every week. Like it could be somebody's first show. And it's like, yeah, but you also have people complaining. It's like, I don't need to hear the rules of the Royal Rumble every single year either. Like I get it. You know what I mean? And you will quickly get up to speed if you care. So the point is, the match was what it was. Not a big fan of it. But the moment of Cody arriving, that's all people really remember. They don't really care what happens in the match or whatever. But yeah, I think this was a sort of like a nice thing because it's like, the WWE can get it right when they choose to.
Isn't it shocking though, Vet?
It's also well, it's maddening because you're like, then why did they purposely choose to not do it right so many other times for so many other people? The people that have been there, the people that didn't leave and come back, the people that have been there the whole time. And, they have to struggle for everything that they get for their loyalty. And then this kid comes in and it's like, sure, whatever you want, Cody Rhodes. It's like, not saying that Cody shouldn't get that. I'm just saying do right by the people that have stuck with you and that you continue to pay millions of dollars, get a return on your investment.
Hey, 1 out of 10 times. 1 out of 10 times they can get it right. And you're right. That's the frustrating part, Vet.
Yeah. So.
And just for people to understand that song Kingdom is owned by Cody Rhodes. He had that song done like as soon as he left, and he took it with him on the Indies before AEW was ever a thing.
That seemed to confuse a lot of people. They're like, well, how do they use it? He had that the moment he walked out the door, ready to go. I mean, he was taking at it when he was making the rounds. Hitting the VFWs and all that. But real quick on this, just before we move on to tonight's close, night one close. A lot of people talk about Cody. He looked a little worn down. Maybe didn't look as spectacular as some others. That the body's shown some wear and tear. Was that the AEW style, or should we be excited to see him now back to working a more professional style, a more relaxed, safer style?
I've been waiting for this question. You know what that is? That's being the father of a fucking baby. That's being the father of a 9-month-old. Cody Rhodes doesn't come across to me as the type of guy that wouldn't be there for his kid. You know what I mean? I have a feeling that Brandy, she'll, your turn, honey. I think that's the kind of relationship or situation. And Brandy Rhodes seems like a tough woman. So
you're going to tell me they don't have like 6 nannies?
I don't think so. Not from what I know.
Have you ever heard Brandy talk in an interview? She is
Listen,
the
bro.
queen of luxury. You think she
Right,
is
and-
doing any of that shit?
And listen, knowing that Cody Rhodes basically grew up without his father around as much, it's a situation where I'm pretty sure, and this is all assumption based on things that I've heard or whatever. And being a father, you want to do more for your kid. You always want to do more for your kid. So I have a feeling that Cody Rhodes is just fucking tired, dude. He's tired. Now, with all that being said, I think he will work a safer style, obviously, more along the lines of, let's say, The Miz, but there's nothing wrong with that. Dude, this was a great match, man. These guys beat the shit out of each other. When Seth Rollins is hitting, welcome back to the big leagues, kid. He's punching him in the back of the head and shit. That was great. That was great, man. And I get it. I mean, they literally, like, if you looked at Cody after the match, he was just all his body was bruised up, his face was smashed up. This was good. This was good for Cody Rhodes, and it made me feel good because say what you want to say, he did what he wanted to do. He went to AEW. He tried. AEW, I feel, in my humble opinion, fucked him over. Okay, I'm going to use that term. They fucked him over.
Shut up, Ray. What are you
They
talking about? Fucked him over. No.
AEW
Let me explain. Okay.
Well, can I finish my thought first?
No, because I'm
Before
going
you
to
jump
forget.
in-
Just because I'm going to forget. That's the only reason. I'm going to forget what I'm going to say.
All right, Colin, no problem.
Yeah. Anyways, so the way I look at Cody Rhodes' thing is he had the carte blanche to do whatever he wanted over there, and everything he did fell flat. So he said, let me just go back to the comfort of people telling me what to do. I think that's the only way we can really look at this situation, because he co-founded it. He had everything he went out there to do. Like, I'm sure that was all him. The big speeches, the big weigh-ins, all that fun stuff that he got to do. And then he's like, and when he drowned on his own, he's like, okay, I need a life preserver. I'll go back to the WWE. That's the only way I can justify this move in my mind. If he didn't if AEW fucked him over, how did AEW fuck him over? Yeah, they fucked him over because they didn't protect him from himself. That's how AEW fucked him over. And this place is going to shut a lot of that shit down and more. But go on with your point.
Anyway, so what I was saying was AEW fucked him over because I believe that Cody Rhodes had a clear vision of what he wanted AEW to be. And when the company started, they kind of started along the lines of that vision. The more Tony Khan became involved, the less Cody Rhodes became involved. So basically, when I say they fucked him over, they told Cody Rhodes, no, we're just going to do what the WWE does. We're going to bring all the WWE guys in. Fuck your thought of bringing in new, young, fresh talent from the indies. Fuck that idea. We'll do what everybody does. It's business. And this is what pisses me off with people on fucking social media burning fucking their Cody Rhodes t-shirts and their stupid cards and throwing away their stupid Cody Rhodes dolls. Are you idiots? Seriously, are you that dumb? It's business. It's business. And Cody Rhodes realized it was business.
Oh, here's the business line.
I think here's the deal. Cody Rhodes, I think, genuinely wanted to do something special. He did. And I think he wanted to honor his father by doing that special thing. I'm telling you, you're shaking your head. No, listen, you or I don't know for sure what went on back there, do we? Do we know what's going on in Cody Rhodes' head and heart and mind? No, we don't. But what I can say is that if you offer me a $3 million 5-year guaranteed contract, also within that contract saying that you can do your shows, you're going to get a huge fucking piece of the merchandise, and we're going to have you work with NXT because of what your dad did in NXT. You're going to be able to live off that legacy. Dude, this dude got 3 shirts on WWE.com already.
I was going to say, for those people that burn their shirts, if you get back on the Cody train, there's a whole new line for you out there.
So all I'm saying is, look, when I say, I don't know if the operative term or the right term is that AEW fucked Cody Rhodes over. I just think pro wrestling it's the business, man. It's the way it is. I think he really genuinely, this is my opinion, doesn't make it right. This is what I just think. I think he really wanted to do something special, different. He wanted to help the young talent. He wanted to help the indie guys. He wanted to make something. He wanted to create something different than WWE. And when shit hits the fan, when money gets involved, when you get a billionaire who comes in, who's clearly on fucking cocaine and wants to do shit his way, just fuck it, go back home. It's the prodigal son. That's what this is. That's what this story is.
A billionaire that's clearly on cocaine that comes in and does what he wants to do. Comes in. There wouldn't have been anything to come into if it wasn't for Tony. First of all, well, that's an important point to bring up, because there would not have even. Where would Cody Rhodes have gone if there wasn't a billionaire to bankroll a company? Also, what do you have to say about Cody Rhodes and everything he's doing in AEW, shitting the bed and the fans hating it? What do you have to say about that part of the argument? How do you bring in and third, how do you bring in the young talent to make a company how you want it to be? How do you get to help the young talent and make a company what you want to be when you just walk out the door because things aren't going exactly the way you want it at a certain period of time?
How many years has it been that he's been with that company? When he started, 3 years now? It's been 3 years?
So say
barely
four with the planning?
Okay, you're in an abusive relationship for 3 years. Sometimes you fucking leave. This is what it is.
Well, he wasn't saying it was abusive for all 3 of those years. Now
we don't know what was happening back there, dude.
But we can see look, they're giving him the TV time, and you're going to tell me that Cody Rhodes was doing exactly what he was told to do every time he went out there.
Fans are assholes. They're fickle. They get what they get what they want, okay? And then when they get it, they turn on it. It happens every fucking day. It happens with Roman Reigns, happened with Danny O'Brien, happened with Hulk Hogan. Okay, it happens. That's what happens.
But you saying that, even if it's true, that doesn't change the other point. I'm not making that point. You're arguing a different point. What I'm saying is Cody Rhodes is in a position to do whatever he wants without a corporate structure leaning on him saying you have to run everything by us. You have to get our permissions. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to be where we say, when we say, how we say, all this other stuff. He's got the freedom over there to have his version of that where he's more like a Vince McMahon than he will be in the WWE. And yeah, there are some things that maybe don't go exactly his way, but every time he went out there, I'm sure he had the agency to sink or swim on his own merits.
Do you know that for sure?
I can tell by what the product that they're putting on and by what he's doing and the fans' reactions to what he's doing.
And
I can tell by my knowledge of Cody Rhodes and my experience around Cody Rhodes, the way he behaves. And I'm like, this is clearly what he wants to do. I don't know who the hell would have advised him to do this bullshit. You know, the tone deafness of having a reality show with his wife. Like, you mean to tell me that somebody made him do that? And that's why, like somebody said, Cody, you need to do this reality show. You have to. You've got to expose all your business for everybody to see.
Everyone was begging for.
Let me just clarify the one thing that you jumped on me about when I said that Tony Khan came in. You're right. Tony Khan bankrolled it from the beginning. When I said came in, I should have said when Tony Khan took over creative control. That's what I should have said.
Well, he always had creative control.
We had it to Ray's point there when we saw the rollout of the company, and maybe if it was cosmetic, on the surface, the way it was presented, that this was going to be those executive vice presidents. It was going to be the vision that we saw from the Elite, from the Bucks, from Omega to a sense, and especially Cody. And then we saw more prominence of TK kind of emerge. And I think that's what Ray is.
That's all I'm trying to say. And the guy was he was in the company from the ground up, dude. Like, there's nothing worse than you building on something. And trust me, I've been there. All right, I've been there where I built something from the fucking ground, ground up, and then you start working with people, and they start having different ideas, and they start wanting to do shit the other way, and then you're outnumbered. You just fucking leave.
There we go.
What the fuck you think happened at WrestleZone?
Wait a minute. So we getting a scoop here? 7 years, Big Ray's going back to WrestleZone. He's making his big announcement.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, this is that's a perfect example. We're at WrestleZone. We're given. Me and Ben had these fucking awesome fucking ideas to do what we're doing here on that platform. But no, fucking Tony Khan over there wanted to do shit his way. And he wasn't listening. He didn't listen. He didn't want to listen. He just had a narrow, straight idea of what he wanted to do. So we said, all right, fuck it. We'll do it our own way.
Okay. All that being said, you go back to the fucking WWE? Like, you think that's the answer to your creative freedom problems?
No,
the WWE, really?
This is
Butch, really?
Listen,
the WWE.
But this is the problem. This is what I'm trying to say. There comes a point in a man's life as a father and a husband where you say, fuck this shit. Let me fucking set up my daughter, and let me just make sure that my wife is set. Let me just take care of my family. You know what I'm saying?
Go get that payday.
Right, get that payday.
But what Vet's saying is you sacrifice all that other stuff.
Right.
And money. It's not like he was getting peanuts. That's the thing.
It's not like he wasn't getting peanuts, but now.
Well, I'm going to starve over here in AEW with my millions of dollars, right?
Yo, he says some shit where
get that McDonald's app going.
He says some shit where he was struggling under the shadow of his father, or whatever the fuck he said, right? And now he's accepting it. Listen, just because Cody Rhodes was a certain way when you worked with him or when you were with him in OVW back in the day, doesn't mean people can change. People can evolve. People can grow. I'm not the same person I was at 20 that I am now at 46. And I sure as fuck ain't the same person I was at 30 that I am 46. You change. You adjust. You move. You do different things. I was a private investigator, bro, for 8 years. I was making twice as much money than I am now. But the reason I left that shit was because I didn't have any time for my family. So I did something different.
That is a reality show.
So again, no time for your family.
I went to the WWE.
Yeah, you went to the WWE, and so you work more days and see your family less. That's what Cody Rhodes is about to embark on. So that's the thing. Like,
is that a fact? Is that a fact?
I get leaving.
You know what his contract looks like?
It's more than 1 day a week. It's more than 1 day a week. That's for damn sure.
Listen,
and they're not going to be letting you do no big show on TBS and this other stuff unless they say so.
Oh, they are.
Unless they, I said unless they say so. So when they decide that the contract changes, okay, look, this is my point is you're right about everything you say. That doesn't make me wrong about what I'm saying. I think he's stupid for going back to the WWE if the issue was that he had no creative freedom. That is stupid to me. Money, if they pay more money, yeah, go there. And if it's like what I basically believe, which is like you had a chance to do it on your own, you fucked it up, and now you want to be told what to do again, that's good too. If that's your comfort, if that's your security blanket, then go back to that. There's nothing wrong with doing it, but I mean, that has nothing to do with making it like, oh, I got to go back to WWE where things are so much better, and the grass is always greener on the other side. So we'll just see. All right, we'll just see what happens.
We have got the heat here. Let's stop this before it turns into a no hold barred match.
Oh God.
Let's move on to some more heat. The main event, if you will, the marquee for night one. It's the KO show, and they're coming at it. KO, this has been 19 years in the making. This reaction, this pop, this is ridiculous. This is insane. KO's out there. He brings out his special guest, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That, as you've been saying, the running theme for this, insanely just terrible build to this, but this is about the moment. This is what it's about. This is insane. Stone Cold Steve Austin back out. We are all anticipating the action, what we're going to get. What's the violence that's about to unfold here? It turns into a match. Vet, I'm just going to turn it to you on this one, man. Get us into this main event close.
Yeah, so exactly right. This could be some of the worst creative I've ever seen for a marquee WrestleMania match. I mean, the shit created for like Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin is one thing, but we're talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin here. So I don't need to recap the entire creative. Y'all saw it. But what
was it? Yo, I hate Texas. Ooh, that was it.
Right. And Kevin Owens, one of the master chicken salad and lemonade makers, he did the best he could. And I guess it got us here. So just like everybody wanted, I think we saw pretty much what we were expecting to see. This had to close the show as also, which I had previously said, because for no other reason that you cannot follow this. No one wants to follow Steve Austin in Texas. So they had to close the show with it. But
I think they almost learned that on night 2 as well.
Right. So anyways, yeah. And they did almost everything that even I wanted them to do. The only thing that would have been great is how Kevin Owens was saying, like, I tricked you, Steve. I brought you out here for an interview, but I want to have a fight. The only thing missing was Steve Austin saying, well, you know what, Kevin? I tricked you too, because this was always going to be a fight or something like that. You know, just that little thing. Instead, it was kind of like, for the most part, and this is exactly what the people wanted, I think. But it was like going to see a band that you like and them playing all the hits, basically. You know, you got all of Steve Austin's catchphrases. You got a bunch of punches and kicks and some surprise suplexes.
A lot of cursing.
A lot of cursing. Some beers. Some stunners. What I don't know what they could have done to send the people home happy more than what they did. This was the only way to finish this night out.
Yeah.
Ray, what was your reaction? What was the pop? And then share, what was the feeling with Aiden? You know, of someone that didn't get to live through that like we did.
So the thing about my son is, again, he's 13, going on 14. Aiden's a little bit of a wrestling historian. So when it comes to that, he'll know his Andre the Giants. He'll know his Hulk Hogan's, his goddamn fucking jackhammers. Hold on, let me close this goddamn window. Goddamn Dominicans next door. Anyway.
I thought they moved.
They did. They came back just to jackhammer because they knew we were doing WrestleMania. That's it. So anywho, Aiden was excited about this because he never had. It's like I had told the story many times when my dad took me to Madison Square Garden, and you know I didn't know who this old Italian guy in this terrible sweater was. You know, beating up on Roddy Piper, hitting him with a chair, and my dad's like, "Oh, that's the Muhammad Ali of wrestling. That's Bruno Sammartino." And that's the moment I had with Aiden. You know, you're going to see Stone Cold Steve Austin. Is he going to wrestle, Dad? Is he going to actually fight? I think, I think he is. I think he is. And I was hoping that they would go this route because anything less than, and I think Vet, I think you have said it or one of the other guys has said it on the Smack Attack. But, you know, you could have even just had the talk show and the stunner and everybody go home happy. Mm-hmm. But if you watch this match for what it was, and if you've lived through the Attitude Era, if you remember Stone Cold Steve Austin, this is what he did. Nothing more, nothing less. He was a punch, a kick, an occasional suplex, an occasional. We didn't get the Luthez press. We didn't get that. But other than that, man, this was great, man. It was a great moment. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin doing what I found myself very worried about him taking those certain bumps, obviously.
He looked phenomenal.
He looked great. I thought he was going to take the shirt off. You know, he didn't do that, but it is what it is.
For the same.
He didn't do it. It's fine. It's fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. I got to see, and then they kicked ass, man. Like, it's a great way. Now, I have a question for you guys. I don't know the answer to this because I went to the very last one night only WrestleMania, which was the one at MetLife Stadium. Before the following year they went to 2 nights. Do the people going to WrestleMania pay for each night individually, or is it like a package deal? Like you're there.
There's different deals. You can do both. You can do an individual.
Okay. So do you think that the people, Rick, that came just for that one night got their money's worth?
Absolutely.
Okay.
People are talking about match of the night here. This is the match of the night for me. This is what had me standing up here in my living room. This is what I'm excited about. What is Ray sitting there talking about getting to describe and share that moment with his son that I can feel that energy from. That's what professional wrestling is about to me. And there's no way in hell you're following that up, which already stacked the deck against me.
Sorry, I hit that button too soon. I'm trying to get you in between each
and that's why I was messing up my delivery there for you.
So, did you have, Rick, that nostalgia pop that you were waiting for?
Absolutely. And that's what I was, and sitting through that match before, it was like, okay, as much as I enjoyed it, and I thought it was the better of the women's match, it was still, let's get to it.
People say, and I want to ask Vet this, people say, I mean, the shit I was seeing on social media is especially during a night like this, it's one of the most interesting places to be.
Yeah, it's very fun.
It's so fun.
It's such a nice time.
So fun. People just saying, "Oh, Kevin Owens, he re-signed to the WWE for this to get buried."
Oh my God! I got into an argument in a group with someone about this. It was the most asinine thing I've ever heard.
God,
people calling this a low moment for Kevin Owens. How could they?
A low moment, Vet. Please say something.
Uh,
A low
I
moment
mean,
for Kevin Owens. For
I-
Kevin
yeah.
Owens.
I had previously speculated that this could have been one of the carrots they dangled in front of Kevin Owens to re-sign his contract. Like, he's probably like, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm going to AEW. You guys suck dick. And I wouldn't blame him for saying that the way he'd been treated up to that point. But, you know, they're like, well, I guess this whole thing at Steve Austin at WrestleMania will just have to go to someone else. Perhaps Seth Rollins would be happy to take some stunners and drink some
Someone
beers.
get Cesaro on the line.
Yeah, and then Owen's like, well, hold on a second. You know, like, let's see that. Let me reread that. So, you know, that's a possibility of something that was talked about just in terms of like things that could happen. I know, you know, there's also been a lot of people saying like, you know, oh, this is the best they got for Stone Cold Steve Austin is Kevin Owens, this slob, you know, like people not respecting Kevin Owens. Like he's a great talent. I mean, it's one thing that is sad is that Kevin Owens was not built up better than this to be in this spot. Cause then there wouldn't be any doubt from people. If you had taken Kevin Owens from his debut in the company, beating John Cena and all that stuff, and had properly elevated him to this level, this would have been even more of a huge draw than it was. It's like, well, why wouldn't Stone Cold come back and fight Kevin Owens or whatever? You know what I mean? Now it seems like it comes out of nowhere because they have been burying him without Steve Austin going over on him. So, you know, in totality, it's unfortunate for Kevin Owens that it couldn't have been even bigger, but it's a spot that anybody would be happy to be in. Can you imagine being in a spot with Stone Cold Steve Austin and not yourself suggesting that you take the stunner and get beers poured on you? Like, isn't that what you want to do? Like, why would you want to go over Steve Austin? Like, what does that do? That doesn't do anything for you, you know? So, and did you also notice that Kevin Owens was smart enough during the interview to say, like, you know, I got kind of a bad back, but you know what I mean? Like, even just like giving himself that out like a true heel, like, you know, it doesn't matter what happens because I got a bad back. Like, right. So genius. I almost can promise you nobody told him to say that. Like, he knew that he had to do something just for that, just to answer that cross section of the audience that's looking at it like he's getting buried for losing in a match with Steve Austin. So, you know, you can't put too much stock into social media or whatever. It'll just get you mad. But it is nice to see though, like what other people are saying so that you can think about it. You know what I mean?
And
like,
laugh at them.
Yeah. Like, or like even the people that are, that's funny because you mentioned earlier the people burning pictures and shirts of Cody and stuff like that. It's like, well, to you, you're looking at that like that's a real thing. To them, they're just like, I'm going to post a picture of me burning this trading card because, you know, I'm just going to make that. That's just what I want to post right now. It's not like they think too much about it, like they're really stressing over it, but they just easily make a post. Like, here's a picture of me burning a card. Does it mean that they're consumed by it, or does it mean that they're just trying to, you know, get noticed? I mean,
I think a lot of them might be actually consumed by that, though. in their
some people are, but we cannot assume that they're all not doing. Like, dude, it's so easy to quickly type a comment in social media and just put your phone down and like you're really sitting there mad about it. We think they are, but who's getting work then, right?
I'll just put out there real quick, and I know we're jumping in the night too soon. Most of what I posted on social media was just to get a reaction, just to get people pissed off a little bit. Am I a huge Cody Rhodes fan? I mean, I've never not liked Cody Rhodes, but you know, I just wanted to see if people would get upset. I was shocked, Vet and Rick. I was shocked at how many people didn't go at me like, oh, he's a traitor to the AEW and all this other shit. I posted it everywhere. You know, I posted pictures of him and fucking the angry AEW guy and everything, and nothing. Everybody was in support. So I was, you know, the social media can shock you too, man. So, but it was
if you want to find a commonplace, we got it all on file for you for all the stupid shit that AEW fans say. Go on over to Facebook, find the Hamin Media live discussion group. We got an incredible thread, over 1,000 posted there, going strong. So you
what stupid shit that AEW
stupid the unofficial official thread for stupid shit that AEW fans post. So we've got that going for you over on the Facebook group, Hamin Media Discussion Group. But Big Ray, it's time. Yeah. You know what to do. Hit the sounds for night 2.
What's Linda McMahon doing here? What's Linda McMahon doing in the Impact Zone?
Speaking of night 2, what are they doing here? Real quick. We'll get through the open and a couple of these first 2 matches real quick. We'll get ourselves back on track. But the game out to open it up. Mm-hmm. He kills about 15 minutes to pretty much just do what he's already done for us on ESPN. Big Ray, just move you in any way. Vet, just jump in and just move you guys in any way.
I bet Yojimbo hated this.
Why? I'll tell you who hated it. A-Track Brown. He hates fucking Triple H.
I'd say
he really did his job in the 2000s, didn't he?
Billy Ray, not a fan either, man. He gets on him as well.
Man,
you know, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I don't know why people hate Triple H so much. I never. That's another guy. I mean, he does the water thing. He married Stephanie McMahon. I'd hit it. I mean, listen, man. All jokes aside, people call him the ultimate B+ player and all this other bullshit. I've been following Triple H since he was terrorizing back in WCW, the old WCW, when they still said it like WCW. And I think Triple H has had a fantastic fucking career. I think he is a fucking legend. King of Kings, I don't know about that, but he certainly had made his mark in the wrestling world. And I think, guys, again, this is that he genuinely also, along the lines of Cody Rhodes, wanted to make NXT something different and special, which he did for quite some time. Me and Vet, we review NXT here for the next level wrestling review every single Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here at Hamin Media. And we've spoken a couple of times on how great NXT actually was when Triple H had full reign of it. So if anything, I think he's left quite an indelible mark on professional wrestling. And I think Triple H is underrated when it comes to his in-ring acumen, if that's fair to say. I think, how many times have you heard Triple H hurting somebody? I mean, right. Inside the ring, not outside the ring, if you know what I mean, financially. The guy he made every single move right. He did everything right, dude.
Yeah. I hope those people that say it's just business whenever they try to defend something a company does are not the same people that are mad at Triple H for doing whatever it took to cement his place in history. You know what I mean?
He had to do it. He had to do the steroids. Come on. He did steroids. Of course he did steroids. Everybody did steroids.
Yeah, that's like everybody.
He did the steroids. He did the marriage. He did the buddying up with the certain people. Like, he did everything. He put the thumb on certain people just because in service of what he thought was right for himself and for the business going forward. Doesn't mean he was always right, but I also think that it's underappreciated what he's tried to give back. Like, I don't know if he feels apologetic for it, but I'll accept what he's done as an apology. Like trying to transition out of activity and ushering the future in. Like, I don't know if he's doing that to make up for things in the past, but it does make up for some things in the past. Yeah, he played the game, Liz. Exactly. That's my point.
He also did Katie Vick.
He did the Katie Vick. I'm sure that he had some questions about that, but he went along with it. So, yeah, if he's apologizing for doing Katie Vick by signing good young talent and bringing in, would we have a Kevin Owens to be in the main event with Stone Cold if it wasn't for Triple H? Ask yourself that question.
Yeah, that brings up. I'm going to email over a topic for you guys, a question you guys can cover on this week's Next Level.
Okay.
Because I think it'd be pretty fitting. But it pertains. It's a little bit of a devil's advocate when it comes to Triple H and NXT. So we'll save that for you guys this week. A little teaser to make sure that everybody's tuning in Wednesday morning, 11 a.m. Correct?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
that's
hopefully.
So I'll shoot that over to you.
God
So
willing.
let's get into the action here. Night 2. Let's get back on the flow. We're opening things up here. We'll get through this one pretty quick because it's more about the post-match shenanigans than it is the match. RK Bro getting us going. Randy Orton and Riddle out having a good time. They're the straight babies in this thing. We've got the Street Profits on the challenge. They've been playing a little bit of that tweener, still having fun, but in the build, been much more aggressive than we've seen. Then we've got the that no one likes here, the Alpha Academy, Chad Gable.
Oh, shoosh.
And Otis.
There you go.
This thing gets 11:30. What really got me inside of this match, I mean, you're going to have the chaoticness of the triple threat going on. We got two really nice top rope finishers kicked out of, not broken up by, because there's no reason to use all the people that we have at ringside, straight kick out ofs. But then not even the most entertaining RKO in this match ends it clean. Obviously, it's all about the post-match shenanigans. They get the new Gable Stevenson in, that they just signed, the Olympian, the decorated college athlete. He goes after, we'll just call him for, we don't confuse anyone here, Shorty G. Takes the big toss post-match. Vet, what did you think of the open of night 2?
I didn't care about any of it, but what I did notice was that the, everything you said, like kicking out of the finishers and lots of flips, and this is just one of those. This match would be right at home on Dynamite with a bunch of people leaping out of the ring at each other. But if you notice during all that, what was everybody really there to see?
Head.
No. That's what everybody wants. What were they there to see?
The RKO.
Exactly. It was just one simple thing that they've seen a million times at this point, and they still just wanted to see that. They all paid for their ticket, whether it was both nights or just this night, and they were like, whatever about these other, 5 guys, where's Randy Orton's RKO? That's all they wanted to see.
Anything with maybe the outshadowing, though? Because Riddle's RKO, that was pretty smooth. You had Ford selling it. I mean, the way he could work his back on that landing, they hit it pretty good. Did that outshine a little bit of Randy's?
A little bit. But the whole idea with Randy is he wants Riddle to get at a certain level. And so that had to have been approved by him. So, because he's smart enough to know, hey, that's going to take some of my shine. So he wanted to give him the shine. It should have finished the match, to be honest. Right?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So even though the people came to see Randy Orton's RKO, I'm sure they would have been just as fine going home with that one if that's the finish. And that's not what we got. And then Gable, he was on night 1 too. They showed him, right? Didn't he come out at some point or something like that? So we got two nights of Gable Stevenson here.
Yes, they did. He came out the first night with Stephanie.
Right.
He had the very nice knitted sweater on.
Right. Yes.
Big
fan of that sweater, RVV? You like that one?
I
gonna add that to the collection yourself?
If that's a trend, I don't know if this is the world I want to live in.
No.
Okay. So that's me. It was just,
Big Ray, quick thoughts on the opener here?
I'm not going to add much to what the vet said regarding it was a get your shit in type match. I don't want to use that term. Everybody uses it now, but dives and, they got their shit in. They got the Gable Stevenson shit in. They got the RKO shit in. The one thing that I did notice is, and I hate to use the term, I sound so stupid, but like how much fun it seems that Riddle and Randy Orton are having together. So there are times that I saw myself like kind of smiling at my phone, like I just enjoying it. Wasn't anything crazy. Good way to get the crowd, I think, hot and ready for the action tonight. So I thought it was a good opener. It was okay.
Also important to point out, guys, 5 guys in this match brought in to NXT by Triple H, and 1 guy in Evolution with Triple H. So maybe we should do a Triple H count going forward this night of WrestleMania to talk about how instrumental Triple H has been in the past several years.
Well, we can move on here. I was interested in how they were going to handle this next match. That was the intrigue for me. This could be a make or break moment, and really, where we're going to go forward with some individuals here. Almost in the last couple of weeks, picking up some steam. Last second booking here, just squashing people. who was going to challenge him at WrestleMania. We found out on the go home week. Bobby Lashley back in action. He's going to take on the big man here, be the first to send him off of his feet. And it turns out he's the first to give him a defeat. Man, this is kind of tricky. Is this it for Omos? I mean, you beat him now. I mean, what the hell you do with a giant like this after you beat him?
Well, that's a good question, but I mean, look, I don't know the answer to that. What I'll say, just what I've seen, actually, the match. So the match I liked the most, I think at last year's WrestleMania, was whatever match Omos was in, AJ and him versus New Day, I think it was. Like, overall, I thought that was the best match.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't the prettiest match, but you know, with the story and the way it all played out based on the players that you had, I found that to be the one match where I was like, yep, that's exactly how it should have gone. Whereas every other match, I was shaking my head. This, not really the same feeling, but what I saw almost like when he's in there, yeah, he doesn't really know what he's doing. And remember that conversation, Ray, we had about Bobby not being able to work? Okay, well, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't be hard to have a match with a guy that can do nothing, because you just have him do the least and you sell it. So that's what working is. Bobby Lashley tried to have a match. That's bad. But you look at Omos move around the ring, and he's really pretty good footwork-wise when you compare those giants that they've had in the past, like the Giant Gonzalez's, the Great Khali's, you know, those type of guys that they've tried to push as like a spectacle. Like, he can move decent. He just doesn't know what to do. And he's trying to learn on the job, and that's just not enough time. So there's definitely something you could do with him, but they have to, like, give him that, like, you know, put him in that compressed time chamber and really just let him work on some stuff and bring him back when he's really ready. That's the other thing. They always have these spectacle guys, and they pull them up before they're ready. Everybody, even Brock, like, they pulled Brock up before he was ready, so they just want him now. Because you can't have a guy like that in developmental potentially killing people accidentally with his own strength, right? Mm-hmm. I guess. And they just want people to buy a ticket just to be in the same room as him and see his size for what it is.
That spectacle. But real quick to kind of backtrack as well, was it too soon to 2 nights of the introduction we got of Gable Stevenson? I mean, are they kind of put themselves in a corner now where he's got to be somewhere on that main stage?
It depends when they actually plan for him to debut, because you can keep putting him in our minds if he's not ready. Now, I think since he just won another NCAA championship or whatever, I think that's the last of his commitments, and now he can join the WWE full time. And they signed him way before he was done with that stuff, with the idea being that, you know, this job is waiting for you when you're done. So that time could be now. But yes, it will be too soon. And there aren't that many Kurt Angles, right? Mm. And even Kurt Angle, like, to a trained eye, was very green for a long time. But he's just so much further along than other guys at that level that the fans couldn't see it. They just saw an awesome, hardworking machine, which he was. So we'll see about good old Gable there. But as for the future of Omos, I don't know, but you can't just throw him in the garbage. Like, you invested all this time in him, and he's done the best he can. I'm sure he wants to do a good job. This match was okay for what it was, not good for the fans. Not a pretty wrestling match or a good exhibition by any means. And the booking itself is kind of head scratching, but, you know, I mean,
Ray, it seems
too late now.
You're agreeing with a lot of what the vet's saying here. What kind of feeling did this leave you with Bobby Lashley?
I totally understand what the vet meant by him not being a good worker. I was also in fear for Bobby Lashley that entire fucking match, and it proved me right.
How often do you look at a guy like Bobby Lashley and say, I'm afraid for that guy?
Bobby Lashley looks so tiny. Dude, number one, Rick, I agree 1,000%. Or maybe the vet said it, I'm sorry. But this guy almost moves around like a guy his size shouldn't. And also he exudes charisma. He's a charismatic man. A scary guy. He should be scary. He's 7 feet tall. He's not, and the thing is that he's not skinny fat like Giant Gonzalez. He's not just fat like the Big Show. He's a giant fucking diesel. Oh, and he's not like a Great Khali who's just big up top and tiny in the bottom, like like a potato with two fucking sticks sticking out of it. No, this guy is just a giant diesel brolic dude that will rip your face off. Now, the one spot in the match that obviously sticks out to me, and the one where I literally just put my hand in my face in my hand, the whole face palm, being like, oh my God, was when almost picked him up, and I could see it, Vet. I know you could see it. When he was going to drive him into the turnbuckle, he was too high. And Bobby Lashley went ass first into that top turnbuckle, and his head just fucking bam hit the. Thank God they have those plastic whatever the hell those are, those plastic barriers with LED lights on it. That probably saved Lashley's life, right, guys? Because he seemed to just shrug it off. Mm-hmm. So that's probably, thank God that thing was on there. If it was NXT, he'd be dead. Because NXT doesn't use that. They use the old ring post. But all that being said, match went on too long. I agree with the vet again. Lashley gave the big
match
guy.
Went on too long. It was 6.5 minutes.
It still went on too long. Too long. Should be a 3-minute match. And on top of that, when you go long with a guy that big and that green, you're just giving him more opportunity to fuck up, which he did. And he almost killed Bobby Lashley. And I don't know if that spear to the back was supposed to happen.
No, I think they got confused. They got turned around.
Right. But it's
commentary say that they sold as trying to go for the kidney there.
And again, commentary. It worked. Commentary saved the fucking night again. Remember with the kick? Remember with the front kick we were talking about the girls? They did it again. Bro, commentary was on point.
The only thing I would add on here for big men, and it looks ridiculous, when you're 7 foot tall.
And random. Sorry.
Don't throw uppercuts. Come down.
Yeah.
What the hell is he throwing uppercuts for?
Mike Tyson throws uppercuts because he was short of the most heavyweights.
All right, now let's move on.
George Foreman came over the top.
I really want to talk to you guys about this, especially get his take on this. Ray, I think he might fall more along the lines of me on this one. I was a jackass, Mark, growing up. The last actual time I went to a movie and sat in a theater, it was a Jackass movie. Johnny Knoxville's out here, Sami Zayn, anything goes. And, brothers, anything went in this thing. The only thing that left me feeling disappointed was the absence of Steve-O. Yeah. I love this thing. I know it was a complete train wreck. Carney as Carney can be. That's what it had to be. If it was anything short of this, we would have been sitting here disappointed that they didn't jackass it up enough.
Okay, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
First, well, you're going to be surprised. First of all, Mike Martin is asking, is Omos on the next round of Mania roster cuts? I say no, but that doesn't mean that they don't think that because there are marks up there. It's like, oh, you hurt Bobby Lashley. Well, who trained him? So it's like, is that his fault? Anyways, so I say no, but you guys think no? No,
I'm with you. I think, there has to be some serious attention to recrafting. They've hurt themselves by putting him down like this. But you're right. There's too much money still on just the spectacle.
And he lost to fucking Bobby Lashley, a two-time WWE champion who's a great MMA fighter and just a badass. So it's not like he lost to fucking Johnny Knoxville.
I'd really like to see some kind of twisted way to get maybe him, Lashley, and MVP together.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And Lashley's known for ending things, right? Winning streaks, master lock challenges. It's not
That's
like out of the precedent. So, so moving on to the Jackass match. So remember what I said about we see everything every week all the time, and then we're expected to pay for it again. Now here you have an anything goes street fight, and wouldn't this match have hit so much better if we didn't see garbage street fights on every single show, every single week? Everybody in AEW is having a street fight match with props for no reason. Every holiday, the WWE has a blank street fight where it's Thanksgiving or Miracle on 34th Street where they're hitting each other with candy canes and turkeys and shit like that. Like, if you saw none of that all year and then you saw this match, you'd be like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. But we already see this with everybody. So now it's just Johnny Knoxville doing it again. Right?
But what we see there is still lesser than what this was. Jackass.
It is.
This was to the extreme of all those other things we've seen.
I know, but they had to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Why cheapen this even if it is crazier? Why still? Why do we do that other stuff so much? We don't need it. We need it for times like this. We need to save it for times like this. For WrestleMania, for big moments, for celebrities, for things that we wouldn't normally see. This stuff is commonplace. That's why I hated not the match, but the fact that I'm tired of this match already. Like, I'm tired of it before I ever even see it.
I will say you're right. Going in that we do regularly see it across all promotions, programming, this sort of stuff. But this did take it to another level. I had a lot of fun with this one. But you're right. If they come out tonight, Monday night, if they try to do it Wednesday, if they try to do it Friday, they're not gonna be able to equal this. So I'm gonna be way more turned off than I was before.
Yeah, and maybe I'm the wrong person because I doubt everybody watches as much wrestling as I do. So if you only watch WWE or whatever, then you only see their street fights. But everybody's doing street fights. Everybody. MLW, everybody. It sucks. Like, I'm tired of it. And there's no reason for it. It's just, oh, here's a street fight. Cold street fight. No angle, no nothing. So that's why I would have, I wished for the sake of this that I had not seen that all this up. The other thing I would say, and I can't believe I'm about to say this sentence is, guys, don't you think you should check multiple times before the show if your giant mouse traps and your ball kicking foot machines are going to fucking work? You know, like, that's not a tip as a wrestler that I was hoping to give to a wrestling company on a podcast, but apparently I need to. Like, go through double, triple, quadruple, quintuple, sextuple check. Make sure that boot's actually going to kick when you pull the lever. Make sure the mousetrap is going to close when you pull the lever.
Who's on mousetrap check today?
Yeah, like, clearly no one. So that was fucked up. Somebody mentioned the giant hand. I think they completely missed that shot, didn't they? Like, it just
got it.
They got it.
I just saw like the fingers after the fact. I didn't see the actual hand hit him.
They got it the way I think they should have gotten it. Like, because when I'm watching it on my phone, that shit came out of nowhere, and I fucking laughed out loud.
Okay,
in the lobby, I'm like, oh shit! You know,
I must have blinked and missed it or something.
Well, it was they were. I mean, you got to carefully watch yourself not to give away a giant hand sitting there at ringside.
I think the way they shot it was excellent.
Well, Ray, I know. Oh, I was gonna say, you love the body slam spot. What was your favorite gimmick weapon that they pulled out here?
It's got to be the fucking hand. The hand was over to me, dude.
I like the machine. I like the bowling ball.
Listen, here's the deal, man. This was I found myself laughing the entire match. Yeah, it was fucked up, but that's what Jackass is. And again, if you're not a Jackass fan, I don't think you're gonna get this. Oh, maybe you will. People just like stupid shit, and this was a lot of stupid shit. But goddamn, was Wee Man so over? I mean, that little guy got in, and he's a strong little fucker. I mean, he picked up a grown ass dude, and this is the second greatest.
Sami Zayn picked up himself. Come on,
this is the greatest fucking body slam in the history of WrestleMania, only behind Hulk Hogan slamming Andre. No, this was fun, man. I love this match. I thought it was silly. I thought it was ridiculous. I do agree with you, Vet, where they should have triple checked the foot gimmick and the mouse trap gimmick. Could you imagine if the mouse trap wouldn't have worked at all?
That was the whole finish.
That was the finish. So
how much better it would have been if it did work, though.
Yeah. But
they got through it. Into Wee Man, the body slam was awesome. The kick that he took was even better to me.
Wow, he took that shit.
Kicked the shit out of him.
And that's what they do, man. Those guys are fucking crazy, man. And did you? I know this is Colin's favorite part, but when what's his name came in when stripped down naked,
Party Boy.
Yeah, Party Boy. I know Colin was just fucking taking screenshots and zooming in and shit. And I know Colin he's gonna make a laminated poster and put it over his bed.
He's already told me you guys this week are doing your top 5 favorite Party Boy moments.
No, we're not doing that. No, that's not happening, by the way.
Sounds believable.
So we have all the, no pun intended here, zaniness that we have going on in the anything goes Knoxville going over Sami Zayn match. You know, one of the things I did say to those I was watching night 2 with, I said, man, it's going to suck to have to reestablish wrestling after this. And I felt bad for anyone that had to go out there. And lo and behold, I think we all knew who was going to be in that spot. And they most certainly were.
Every woman ever.
Yes. The women's fatal 4-way match. And you know what? I got to hand it to them. I don't really put it over the match itself, but they were able to go out there. They didn't completely lose the crowd that, you know, that was having so much fun from the match before. I think they handled it right. You run the boss out there first. You get the glow going. You have the boss coming out looking sweet in the, you know, in the ride. She's, you know, they're looking good. Boner alert everywhere. Jeans were popping everywhere when you have Liv come out there with the whip. We got the dominatrix stuff. So, you know, the entrances were good here. All the ladies look good. And then the match happened and we get through it. And we have new women's tag team champions. Yeah. Ray, we'll go to you if that's here. Right?
I think I made it very clear when on the Facebook.
Yes, I forgot. You actually gave me warning you were going to step away during this match. So,
I know. Well, I did watch some of it, but I wasn't paying attention because I didn't give a shit about it. And this was within that 5% of the 95% I didn't give a shit about. So, hey, Sasha Banks is a fucking star. Naomi is a fucking star, and they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be good. I guess women's tag team champions. I didn't know they had so many women's tag teams in the WWE.
We don't. It's just everybody tossed together.
That was everybody
in the build. Yeah, the remainders. Who's left over? You're a tag team. We got a match. That real quick, Eddie. Anything here from the ladies?
You're right. I feel bad for him. This is like they all get kind of thrown into this. It's as like a consolation. Like at least you're on the show. So
I'm sure they got compensated for it.
Yeah. No problem. They got to have their match. It was not a good match in any sense of the word, but you know, it had to be there. It had to be the buffer spot. How many of these were Triple H ladies, by the way? Also, Sami Zayn, another Triple H guy.
The Triple H ticker is in effect here.
Oh, and I loved on social media where I forgot who it was, Liv Morgan, who came and dressed the way she did, and people were putting up pictures of Dodgeball, the movie, when he came with the S&M gear. Fantastic. Gotta love Twitter.
We were going over and over, you know, those that are up for qualifiers for match of WrestleMania. This has got to be up there for many, especially this had all the, you know, the over the top, just not the in ring, but the theatrics involved with the entrance with a hell of a way to come into the arena here. Edge going over AJ Styles. Solid ass match. Incredible entrance here. And we get the formation of a new duo, little partnership here. Damian Priest, the new Brood, if you will, as he aligns himself with Edge. Vet, kick it to you on this one.
So when I say to you guys that I didn't like this match, why do you think I would say that if you had to guess?
Because you don't like a lot of things.
That's a good guess, but we're looking for something a little more specific.
I would say a few of things was maybe the length. Did it go a little too long in here? It seemed like there was...
No. It's because, once again, the build to this, we have a man for... Like, here's where you had a thing... The obvious build is like, you've got one legend, you got another legend in the making, a dream match that everybody's looking forward to. All this ever had to be was start out, you know, a few weeks out and say like, you know, I want to challenge you to a match. I think this is a match that we could tear the house down. And then it gets a little bit chippier as time goes on. And pretty soon, like this starts getting heated, professionally heated. And then by the time we're ready for the showtime, it's like we're going to see which one of these two guys really deserves their legend status. That's the whole idea behind a match like this. What happened instead? Edge, for no reason, out of nowhere, bashes AJ Styles' head into oblivion with a chair.
Well, he wanted the Bulldog. He didn't want that tag team buffoon.
No.
Right, exactly. He wanted to, so Edge continues to come out week after week and try to justify this with Vince McMahon written promos. Here's another guy that should just said no to everything that they told him to do and has the agency to do it. No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not doing that. We're just going to have this match. And then how much more would it mean at the end where you get the Damian Priest sighting and then the team up? Then it's like, okay, now we got some intrigue because we didn't have this going in. But no, all of a sudden, Edge is a cartoon character. And so now AJ has a reason to kill this guy because he put him in the hospital for a while. What do they do when they come out? Arm drags? Are you fucking kidding me? Get off the stage. Ding. Get out of the ring. See you guys next time. Maybe next time, guys. What the fuck are you doing arm dragging somebody that you want to murder? You know what I mean? Like, arm drags is for the match that I laid out, not for the match you laid out. You know, this match is AJ pounces on him, and this is violence from the get-go. And you're not going to see any cool wrestling transitions and submission escapes and shit like that. No, fuck that. You tried to kill me with a chair, and now we're arm dragging? Are you serious? Like, these two guys, of anybody that should know better, these guys go out and have a match like that. This was the shits.
Is this a case of where, in their mind, when this was pitched and they said, hey, you guys are going to be working together, they start, this is what we want to do? And if they would have laid out what you said, that where this was more of a respecting, this is a dream match coming to fruition, that would have made sense. So is this a case of just disconnect of, fuck, we had to deal with all that shitty creative, let's go do what we want here?
It shouldn't be.
I mean, where was the disconnect? Like you said, why didn't someone say this doesn't make any freaking sense?
You have a match in your mind and they change the creative, you have to change the match. That's what a worker does. A worker, a professional. You can't have the match you feel like having. You now have to have the match they put you in. So if they amped up the violence and they amped up the anger and the intrigue and all this other stuff, and you turn Edge into an evil cartoon character coming up out of a flaming throne or some bullshit like that, what the hell is this about?
So cool.
If you do that, you don't just go into arm drags. You don't. It's just, you look stupid now. No, the average fan don't care. They're just like, they're used to this. They just see this shit and they're just like, oh, whatever. It's a good match, 5 stars, whatever. But no, that's not a good match. It's a good match if you said it's a good match based on the build. Okay.
I have a question for Vet.
Sure.
Remember when Ricky Steamboat had his larynx crushed by Macho Man? He tried to kill him. Didn't Ricky Steamboat do a bunch of arm drags at WrestleMania 3?
I don't like that match either.
Oh, okay. We're done. We're done here.
Yeah. So that's the one thing in wrestling that I've always got when you get so personal like that. It's like, oh, you fucked my wife. I'll show you. I'm going to pin you in a ring.
Yep. Let's lock up.
How do you
clean break on the ropes? You know, like
I'll show you. Ray, you got the mustache. You're the only one that can do that. Yeah.
Fucking shit.
The only thing I got with the entrance was they already had the Undertaker's planned and Triple H's planned, and then when they got scratched, they're like, "Shit, let's just combine them and give them that."
Yeah, combine them together. Cool entrance.
So I got to throw out there again. This is like me being a new fan, watching this for the first time. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I was gonna say, were you confused by Edge's flaming throne?
Absolutely. I'm like, "What the fuck is going on here?" But if I wasn't a fan, if I didn't live through the whole Brood, I wouldn't have gotten it. You know, I was like, what the fuck? I thought Edge was a good guy. Is he a bad guy? Is AJ Styles a good guy now? Like, I was totally confused. Okay, remember, guys, I'm just watching NXT.
Something straight out of the new Force Order. It was Palpatine or whatever the hell.
I only watch Palpatine.
Papa John, what?
Whatever. Papa John's.
Execute orders.
Papa Shot, Papa John. I don't know that shit.
But anyway, I was watching this. I was like, what the fuck is going on here with Edge? And then, listen, Vet, I have so much respect for what you're saying. But I enjoyed it. I liked the match. I get the psychology was off.
It's going to be different to you because you're, again, looking at it in the vacuum of one guy versus another guy, so you saw a basic match. But
it was funny. During this match, I got a message from one of my clients, and he asked me to change their hours of operation on social media. And the match is kind of happening. He sends back, he said, hey, did you get a chance to do that yet? I said, I'm on it. I promise. I got distracted by WrestleMania. And I started his next one back. Did McAfee win? I said, his match is probably next. It's Edge and Styles. Then before the end of the match, I get back from him, what the fuck is Edge still doing wrestling? So that's the message I got back from
Not
him.
still, again.
And
Yes.
and can I ask you guys a question now? Again, I'm a new fan. So what's the deal with Green Arrow, the tall guy? What's his name? Damian Priest. Why is he all dark now?
Yeah, he's not the Archer of Infamy anymore, Ray. Even though that would have made a lot more sense into this gimmick that he's doing here with Edge, but yeah, he's just Damian Priest, who he's the light and the dark side. Like, he's cool and all, but when you make him angry, then the Damian comes out of the Priest, and then he just has to choke you until he gets disqualified because he can't control his rage.
I thought a priest would be more of a heel.
And the Priest is the babyface, right? Come on.
It's like they're trying to refine what Punishment Martinez was. It's all lost. But
the Archer of Infamy was a gimmick that I understand. Yeah, you had the arrow shit, which was corny, but it's supposed to be a symbolism, I guess, or just something different to do. But the idea of the guy being like, he's chasing legacy, like he wants to be somebody that's remembered, right? Like, that was the whole idea of the gimmick. How they showed it was just him partying with chicks and pretending to shoot.
Bunny.
And miming shooting arrows. But that was just symbolism. You know, the dual personality thing was just some corny shit that didn't make sense.
So are they going to bring Finn Balor into this faction? That would make sense, right?
I thought Finn Balor would be having a match on this card, but apparently not.
He was in that damn Andrew the Battle Royal that I missed.
Yeah.
Or Andrew the Giant.
Andrew Bellows Battle Royal.
Bellows Battle Royal, ladies and gentlemen, coming next year to the Hammies.
Jesus Christ.
Wasn't he the
Andrew
United States
Bello.
champion? Isn't he?
Yes, and he was
Finn
in
Balor?
the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Hey, you know what? What's maybe worse than even being left off of this card? At least he got to go enjoy the weekend. He didn't have to worry about anything.
Sure.
So next up, we have got, not only do we not have enough room for you on night one, we're going to bump you to night two. And your match is going to go 1 minute and 40 seconds. They couldn't get 1 minute and 40 seconds on the night one, so they're still scrambling to make room for these guys. Night two.
You would have thought with the time that they lost on that Boogs match that 1 minute and 40 would slide right in.
Right. But Sheamus and Ridge Holland with Butch, they go over the New Days.
Hold on.
Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston.
I got to jump in. First and foremost, this is another match that was in that 5%, and we're done after that. I liked everything else. Bro, what the fuck did they do to this kid Pete Dunne? It is fucking terrible.
Excuse me, Butch.
Awful.
Butch.
Fuck Pete. It's Pete fucking Dunne. What's the
worse?
hell?
What's worse, Pete or
Vet.
or Butch?
Vet, wasn't this guy breaking people's fingers every goddamn week on NXT? Yeah. And now they're grabbing him by the back of his belt buckle, trying to pull him over with one arm, like he's a little pest. Like
This
this is a Christmas Story. He's that little guy. He's the little guy from Christmas Story. What the fuck with Brock Lesnar, the tall Brock Lesnar kid?
This is 100% a Vince McMahon idea.
Oh,
you can just see it. If you know what you're looking at, you can just see this. Like, this is what his vision is for this guy. Now, I said this earlier, but just to clarify my position, the idea of, I can see if this is the only way they can think of to bring him in as like, he's like this role. Okay. Like, all right, I get it. It's not maybe ideal, but I don't know if Pete Dunne could get over to the degree that he would want to doing what he used to do there, not in WWE, not with those people, running the show. So I can see this gimmick working for him, but naming him Butch, there's no reason for that. You've already spent the marketing to let everybody know he's been Pete Dunne for 5-6 years or however long it's been. So it just seems weird to change it. And what's better, Pete or Petey or Butch? Well, whatever. Pete Dunne. He could just be Pete Dunne. Ridge Holland gets to be Ridge Holland. They didn't call him Ridge. You know what I mean? So it's
there's only one Ridge.
Yeah, there's only one Ridge. That's Von Wagner.
That's the cranial Ridge. Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the name is the problem. It's not so much the idea of the gimmick. You can like the gimmick. You could take or leave the gimmick. But it's the Butch that really sucks.
Gotta put it on Media M5. Let me at him.
Yeah.
I'll splat him. That's what he is. He is scrappy dude.
That's the gimmick.
Vince McMahon was probably babysitting his grandchildren, They were watching. You remember when Scooby Doo met the Undertaker, and he was watching that.
Scooby Doo at WrestleMania.
Oh my God, that Pete Dunne is scrappy fucking do.
Yeah, he's done. He's done all right.
Oh Lord, God damn, that poor kid.
Would you say that though that Dunne is the ultimate transition, a tranny? They took away his Peter and made him a butch.
Oh, we're done here. We're done.
Where's the Gorilla Monsoon for him, right?
Stop. And he didn't think the Madcap gimmick could get over. Look at him, killing it here this morning.
Bro, Pete Dunne. Like, it's blowing my mind how fucking terrible that was. And again, remember, I'm watching this. The last time I saw Pete Dunne, he was doing he had the mouthpiece in. He's doing 2 fists to the face, breaking people's fingers, fighting Italian guys, you know, that are mob bosses. Now he's a fucking cartoon dog.
I agree with, you know, Hamin regularly says, you know, especially here on the Monday locker room, I never got to Pete Dunne. The finger thing never got me. No one ever, like 5 minutes later, no one's ever even selling the damn thing. He never really broke anyone's fingers.
It's more of like a hyperextension. It's a hyperextension of the finger. Just pop it right back in. It's like jamming, you know, when you're playing basketball.
Butch or whatever, man. Minute 40, New Day's done. Kofi Mania, what a hell of a run you had there. You're minute 40, getting bumped around the WrestleMania card. All right, we got the. I guess I get to say this twice in an episode. I'm ready for this one. Let's get ready. Pat McAfee, you know, they got it in the highlight reel. He even makes was this Rip's WrestleMania debut? He gets in the promo package. Pat McAfee, he's a Rip Rogers guy. McAfee out there showing it's been his dream. They got Rip in there with the training vignette. Pat McAfee out there mixing it up with the anointed one. The future John Cena-ass superstar, Austin Theory. This was fun. I like this one again. You got a celebrity that has this a little more extensive ties in the same training resume as our own vet here, if you will. McAfee out there shining. Him and Theory. The first part of this match here, vet. What'd you think?
You know, it was okay. If you know Pat, you've known what he can do. If you saw his match with Adam Cole, you know that none of this should be a surprise, but a lot of people didn't. So this would be their first look at him. They've just seen him behind the desk or on his podcast. And so
I would say not a mention of any of that. You know, we did get a little bit with the training with Rip, but nothing with the NXT.
Right. So for whatever reason, they didn't want to show that, probably just because it was Adam Cole.
Never happened. That's why.
Right. Which they didn't show Adam Cole in the package, but if you notice, you know, the theme, another theme I saw this whole weekend was, you know, with the Hall of Fame and everything, was there's people that they got on camera that they normally, you know, in the past they definitely wouldn't have, from getting Andrade right there sitting next to Charlotte at the Hall of Fame, and they had JTG bring up Shad's family at the Hall of Fame, which he's
that looked incredible
right now.
That looked great.
You know, that was really awesome. It was the only thing they could do, but in the past, I feel like the WWE wouldn't have done it. So, like, they've lightened up on some certain things, you know, bring in Cody Rhodes, for example. So, like, they've shown that they're maybe a little bit more lenient on some of this pointless, you know, petty bullshit that they've done in the past. And so that was nice to see. So it's oddly, you know, Pat McAfee's match with Cole was exercised from the video package, but nonetheless, you know, this was, well, you know, it was what it was. Austin Theory's not really good enough to make this make sense. So it was really just a get your shit in thing. And they did that. And I thought that was a good job on their part.
Big Ray, we'll do the transition here. You've got McAfee goes over on Theory here. Post-match here, this is where, you know, with the rumors, what we had heard the rumblings weeks ago, was this going to be Vince McMahon? Is he going to get out here? Is he going to get involved in a match? Lo and behold, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. What the hell is McAfee calling him out for?
Well, you know, Vince McMahon did, from what I saw in the recap.
What is Vince now? 77?
I don't know. Maybe you guys could look that up.
I'm on that while you're giving us your take.
But first, I got to say that I loved the Pat McAfee entrance. I think Elizabeth made a point of in the chat. The people were just fucking behind him with that chant. I loved him punting the ball into the crowd. That was fantastic.
Seven
Nation Army is over, dude. That's a song that you hear like in pop culture a lot.
So
And there's a
good.
reason for that.
So good, man. It has those rhythmic, that rhythmic gimmick in the music that just makes you want to chant.
You got the Dallas cheerleaders out
Oh
there.
my gosh,
with you.
it was great. Like the way they brought him in. One thing I Vet, you know me, Vet. We work together. What's the one thing Pat McAfee fucked up on in that match? It's a little thing.
The one thing? Oh
He
shit! I
shouldn't,
don't
he
know.
shouldn't have. You want me to just tell you?
Yeah,
He never took off his gold chain.
the gold chain. Yeah,
The gold
The
chain.
gold
Vet.
chain.
Did you see the gold chain? Did you think of me, Vet, when you saw the gold chain? No.
I just thought, like in addition to the gold chain, I'm also like, your ring gear for WrestleMania and your big WrestleMania debut is everything you wear except your tank top is sparkly now.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah,
probably
after
what-
we've been told this is your ultimate dream, that outside
Yeah.
of being named like the all-time greatest punter, all the accolades, Super Bowl, this is the dream. And
Sparkly tank top.
So as we transition into the
sparkle.
these sparkles into the match with Vince McMahon, this was a surprise for me, and it wasn't a bad surprise for me. I was like, oh shit, this old man's gonna really, what are they gonna do? Is he gonna take off his shirt? He took off his shirt. He had the old Vince McMahon black wife beater on, or I'm sorry, ribbed tank as they call it now, underneath the shirt. He comes in, he does what Vince McMahon does. He wrestles fucking terribly, and not only that, he wrestles terribly, and he's an old man. So that was interesting, but it was like a fucking car wreck. Like you couldn't take your eyes off of it. I couldn't take my eyes off. I couldn't stop watching it. It's like when somebody sends you the video of somebody's arm slowly getting chopped off or something like horrific, and you don't want to watch, but you can't. You just want to see what it looks like when they
It
finally
was like
get
the
through.
Faces of Fear videos. You're
Yes!
just watching it.
The monkey. Remember the monkey gimmick? Anywho, so Vince McMahon, man, he goes over. He goes over strong on Pat McAfee.
God damn it.
It's right what you're saying there, because I mean that was the edge of the seat. Like, oh my god, is he like gonna punch him and kill this guy? Is he gonna take up? Like, would it have been okay if like Vince McMahon did something and died in the ring? Would we like be mourning this right
That's
now?
what I was worried about. But but to answer your question, why did he call out Vince McMahon? Well, in the review gimmick that he did before the match, Vince McMahon made it very clear that Austin Theory is his guy. And I think the last time they ran, you want me to fire you? You want me to fire? So maybe that's why he kind of called out Vince McMahon. Hey, you're not so tough. Fuck you. You're my boss. I don't know, bro. I have no answer for that. I'm just trying to think it through here and talk out loud.
Is McAfee seen the same Vince McMahon we have all seen? He's 76 years old. You're 34, 36 years old, and you're going to kick his ass. Just the logic behind the upside there, but Vince gets the win. I did like Vince working the crowd with the fake punts. And then I guess
He had to do something, right?
Oh,
Right.
I'm sorry. That finish, although terrible, was
the
also
punt of doom.
was also fantastic because the timing it takes to drop the ball and kick it into the guy's face, that's not easy.
Yeah,
Like,
I can't believe that went well. I
Right?
cannot believe it. Of
Holy
everything else that
shit.
did not go well.
It was perfect.
Well, I think you guys would agree though. We're all waiting for the moment the glass shatters.
Yeah. This I
Yeah,
did
it-
not get spoiled somehow.
You did not get spoiled?
No, I didn't see Vince McMahon get in the ring. I did not see Stone Cold, so I didn't know this was coming ahead of time.
Yeah, so Stone Cold out, and it's stunners galore. The first one, Theory takes one, sells like a champ. Now, Vet, I'm going to turn to you on this one, man, because I can know you've been waiting to break this one down.
Oh, jeez. Well, so when Vince McMahon comes out there, and as soon as he takes his shirt off, like, and starts moving around, he looks like he's a marionette. Like somebody is up in the rafters at AT&T, and he's like, just like the clotheslines like off. Everything's just
Now I can't unsee it.
yeah, and now and Pat McAfee is just bouncing off him like a pinball, and trying to do his best to make this is where Pat McAfee gets a worker award for trying to make Vince McMahon look like a moving human being and not like, Pinocchio before he becomes a real boy. So
Look at that comment in the chat right there by Elizabeth.
Yeah, Elizabeth says Vince wanted a match to show up Triple H. My in-ring career isn't over, pal. Yeah, exactly. Well, it is now because what happens here when Steve Austin comes out, he gives Vince McMahon the boot, and the marionette and the puppeteer, like, I guess he lost control, and Vince McMahon stumbles into the ropes. And then as Steve Austin tries 3 times to grab him for the stunner, right then someone cuts the strings and the puppet falls to the floor and Steve Austin just takes his own ass bump. So the it's very hard to get puppeteering correct. And the timing, it's a masterful lost art. And clearly they pulled in a novice to do it. Knowing WWE, they probably fired their longtime puppeteer and just said anybody can do this and brought in a guy off the street to manipulate Vince. But yeah, just disgusting looking. Like, this did not need to happen. Not by any stretch of the imagination.
It was so bad though that it was good. I'm sorry, dude. Like I said, I found myself entertained by this moment. We throw that word. People throw that WrestleMania word around. Moments. There were a lot of big moments that I think people are going to talk about. The mousetrap. They're going to talk about the midget slam. They're going to talk about the kick to the face in the Bianca match. They're going to talk about Vince McMahon. They're going to talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like I could just go on and on and on. This was like from top to bottom to top, and we're going to get closer to the main event soon. All moments, all incredible moments, all so much so that the main event actually, I think, took a backseat to all the great moments before that. But we'll talk about that down the line.
See, real quick on this, one of my favorite moments, though, hat tip to the production for catching this, post all the stunners that we saw, is McAfee laying there laid out after his stunner, still guzzling the beer as he's laying ringside.
He gets it, though. I think that guy.
Why not? Why not? Everything else went to shit. Might as well just
So we
continue,
had KO, we had Byron Saxton night 1.
Everybody
we
got
have
it.
had Austin Theory. We have Pat McAfee. I think we can all agree Vince McMahon's not in the running for this one. But
Question.
who sold the best stunner?
Well, I was going to ask a question. Did anybody think that when Vince McMahon finally got hit by that stunner, he was literally dead there?
That's what I was saying. I wouldn't be. I don't know if I'd be mourning this morning if he would have died right then.
He got a warrior's death. That's
Yeah.
I think Austin Theory gets the.
What a way to
one.
go out. WrestleMania with a stunner. See ya. I'm out of here. Fuck you later, world.
Who gets it, Vet? Who gets
stunner of the night is McAfee. The way he spits beer falling all the way down.
Okay.
That made me laugh. And I'm sitting here by myself, no one around. I'm already jaded and tired of watching this, mad that I have to cram it in before I do this show. And seeing him fall down like a doing the timber while spitting beer all the way to the ground. Like, yes, that was the best one.
I will agree. I did enjoy Saxton's night 1, but I'll go with McAfee.
He did. I mean, those 3 did good. I don't think you can count Vince's because, like I said, the strings were cut before he got to take it.
With Ray's, it was so bad it was good.
What else could it be? He's never taken one good. So
as Big Ray said, we have had almost to the point here 2 nights of big moments, for better or worse. If you laughed, if you cried, if you were just in awe, so many moments. This is all building towards the biggest match for the most stupendous WrestleMania, 2-night WrestleMania, title for title, unification. That you've been talking regularly, terrible build. If they were going to get anything right in their builds, this was it. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. I'll go to you, Vet, on this thing. With the entrances that it comes out, they're still entertaining through the entrances with Heyman grabbing the mic, Brock grabbing the mic. Did it fall apart here? Did we get a lackluster finish to a WrestleMania? A lot of people seeming a little disappointed, maybe because what Ray said, though, that we didn't end on a big high or something.
I think so. I think it was a little bit just because they'd been delivering on a few different fronts. So, the past 2 nights, and they had hyped this up so much. Well, first of all, it could never have lived up to the hype that they were trying to give it. And also, talking about the build again, like, there were good things in the build, like, piecemeal. But, like, as a whole, again, you're looking at a situation where you see everything before we even get the match. We've already seen a bloody Brock Lesnar. We've already seen attempted vehicular homicides on multiple occasions. We've already seen Cowboy Brock coming in and throwing security guards around. We've already seen everything, and then what is left for this match to even do, especially after following 2 nights of matches? Yeah. So this was never going to be good. It's not even a new match. We've seen this match like 3 times, 4 times in the past 2 years alone. It's so what else are they going to do? This is just 2 big slabs of meat throwing themselves at each other. For that, it was fine. And then
you think it was rushed? As me M5.
Well, I actually had it in my notes to ask Vet about this. I think they called for this thing to go home early.
I have no idea because I don't have a concept of the time as it was going. I did not watch live. I don't know.
Well, it looked inside of the match. I guess when you watch it at any point, they got confused. There was when the spear to the back happened in this match, you could tell there was some kind of miscommunication. So they had to go back to the spot because that led to the Nakamura lock and the pushing of the rope where you got and then it looked, there was some weird conversation between the ref and Lesnar and Reigns where it almost like they got the go home signal. So they went right to the finish. It just looked really weird in the transition.
Maybe. I don't know why they would like.
But this thing went 12 and a half minutes. That's a Brock Lesnar match.
That's pretty much it. So I don't really know that it would have went home early. I don't know what else they had planned to do. I don't know what else they would have felt like doing. I don't know why you would have to cut their time because they're on Peacock. So it's not like they have to worry about if the pay-per-view providers, unless they still are on some pay-per-view outlets and there's a time restriction.
They do. I mean, outside of the U.S. borders.
So then if that's the case, maybe that. But I don't know. I also don't know why they wouldn't leave enough time for these guys. You would have thought they would have cut the New Day match again if they knew.
We gave that New Day a minute 40. We got to go.
Well, remember, Triple H took 15 minutes.
Yeah, Triple H took 15. Did he really take 15? Was it really 15?
Yeah, it was 15 minutes. Yeah. I remember.
I thought you were making a Triple H joke there.
No.
Well, I guess you're right. It would have been 20 minutes if it was a Triple H joke. But yeah, so the one thing I would say about this match that pisses me off is, that spot with the spear into the Kimura was obviously a big spot because it's like, is Roman going to tap out here? And when Roman gets caught in this, and people that listen to me know one of my pet peeves, what's the first thing Roman does as soon as he gets caught in the oh yeah, my arm's about to break and I'm about to lose this title unification match, but let me brush the hair out of my face real quick first.
Fix my hair.
Right. So fuck you, Roman. But
damn.
I mean, I don't know, man. It was fine for what it was. Was it flat? Did people expect another angle at the end? Did they want The Rock to come out?
I think that's what the expectations were. Maybe not that. I think a lot of people were thinking Rock. They're waiting for the if you smell.
Yeah. And then what sense would that make if he did that? Because then it's like, well, where were you the rest of the entire 2 nights? You know what I mean? Like he just
Rock, man. He just flew in.
Making movies, bro. Eating pancakes.
I just flew in. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, of course. But that's exactly
riding his horse-like daughter up a hill somewhere.
But we did.
Yeah, and he also just happens to know in his busy life when the exact end of WrestleMania would be, right? So, anyways, maybe that's what people were hoping for. But
The Rock controls all time and energy and the stratosphere, the universe.
You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize, Mr. Rock. Please don't erase me. But yeah. So that's the thing. But I mean, this is just continuing a long stretch of flat WrestleMania finishes starring Roman Reigns, where everybody's mad. I mean, they're less mad because they like this version of Roman Reigns. But come on, look at some of the ending the streak. Boo! I'm a babyface. Boo! Beating Triple H. Boo! I'm a babyface. Boo! Like people hate Roman Reigns. This is shit. They're used to WrestleMania's closing and being mad at Roman Reigns. So this would just be another one.
Ray, where were you at this time of the night? How were you feeling? And your thoughts? What's next for Roman as well?
At 11:34 p.m., I tweeted this out, and I quote Michael Cole: "There's never been a match to unify both world titles." And then I put and I tagged Chris Jericho pops in with "You have made the list." Isn't that one of the biggest moments when Jericho beat Austin and The Rock to unify both the world and? WWE titles?
Well, technically, Raymond, that was the World Heavyweight Championship and the
got it.
WWE Championship, but this one was the Universal Championship, which is bigger than just a world.
Got it. Okay, so I'm wrong there. So then let me just delete that tweet. Apologize. Delete.
Don't worry, everybody screenshotted that, and they're gonna bring it up to you later.
Of course, 10 years down the line when I'm trying to get a job. Anyway, so
But wait a minute. Did that happen that didn't happen at a WrestleMania, right?
it didn't
No,
it?
it happened at a random.
That's what I thought it
Vengeance.
did.
A random Vengeance or Armageddon or one
But
of
it's
those.
I thought it did. I know, but they said at WrestleMania.
Did they say it?
Yeah.
So technically, Raymond.
Damn it. All right, fine. So all that being said, where was I? I was watching this match. I wasn't expecting The Rock to come out, guys. I was expecting Roman to win. They are solidifying Roman as possibly one of the greatest WWE champions of all time with this fucking run. It's incredible. And now he has 2 titles. I hope he doesn't walk around with 2 titles. I hope tonight.
That's why he's got Hamin.
I hope tonight at Monday Night Raw, they have a new version of the unified.
I think there was one
WWE
floating
title.
around, an image of one floating around.
Yeah, there's always images, but I think, now hear me out. Don't know if it's going to be The Rock at SummerSlam, but what if
Well, if it's Rock, you got to do another year of this, right? Because you're going. Next year's WrestleMania is LA.
right?
You're going to Hollywood. You're
SummerSlam,
going to Rock's.
but SummerSlam is the number 2. It's right behind WrestleMania, in my humble opinion. I think SummerSlam is now the. I call the WrestleMania of the summer. It's just as big.
I agree with you, but if WrestleMania's anywhere but LA,
so is it? So my question is this: Monday Night Raw tonight, okay, guys. Depending on when you're watching this or when you're listening to this. Oh, by the way, I got to put it over that the replay that's usually on Channel Attitude, the replay of this show will be for free on Podbean.com a few minutes after we're done with this.
Very
So
nice.
I'll be putting that up there. And the Ayatollah said, "Yep, give it to them for free, ya Allah, but nothing's for free." I don't know what that meant. So I wasn't disappointed because I knew who was gonna win the match. It did feel a little flat, but again, that's because of everything that we saw giant mousetraps, midgets body slamming people. I mean, it was crazy. This WrestleMania was fucking insane, dude. Now, what I think, now you asked me the last question, and I'll give you the answer. Where does it go from here? Why doesn't Cody Rhodes fucking challenge this dude for the world title?
Is it too soon for that?
Monday Night Raw tonight.
Unfortunately, it's not too soon because they have cleared out everybody. There's nobody left.
Right.
And there's nobody that's even believable left because they, like I was talking about with, in the Steve Austin thing, these guys could have all been so much bigger. You know what I mean? Everyone's profile could have been raised that you want in and around this main event picture. Seth Rollins is a guy that you look at with the history of Roman Reigns, and it's like, why wouldn't Seth Rollins always want a piece of Roman Reigns? Mm-hmm. Like what? Like character wise, psychology wise, why would this guy be okay being in the same building as Roman Reigns? The guy that he looks at himself as the architect of the Shield, and this guy is reaping all the benefits. How the hell do you just ignore him all the time and just dance around wearing suits made out of your grandmother's upholstery? Why does that happen? And then, so you end up in a match with Cody Rhodes, and now Cody Rhodes beats you. So that's a little bit more off the table than Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes has more of a right to even challenge than Seth does. But
Well, here's what's going to happen then in WWE fashion. You will have Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Omos, everyone that lost at WrestleMania will come out and interrupt each other and demand an opportunity at Roman Reigns.
and then they'll get put in a fatal 5-way
Yes.
street fight.
That's yes. Dallas Fort Worth street fight.
Yep. And
that will probably happen actually.
yeah. And so for that reason, I don't see why it would be too soon for Cody Rhodes to run a quick program with Roman. He's not going to win. They don't have anybody that can win, and they don't have anybody that should win. And if The Rock comes in at WrestleMania, he should definitely not win. There's nobody that should win. And until they figure out a guy that can win, they have to keep Roman on top like this. But they can't just take the belt off him for the sake of it, for some reason or other. Until you have made a guy that can believably, like, yes, this is the guy, whoever that may be. Whether it's somebody new that you're getting a clean slate with, or somebody that you're going to rebuild and get back on track to be the guy. You have to leave this belt on Roman Reigns. He can't be losing it to celebrity guests. He can't be losing it to guys that are just, floating around the top, but you're not going to pull the trigger on. He's got to stay on top until they really figure it out.
Oh.
And you're right. How sad is it that there's no one even remotely close to being ready for that?
He's gone through them all. He went through, sorry, Ray, just real quick. He's ran through anybody that you can think of. Seth Rollins recently, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn even. Who else is around? That's Edge. Who else?
Well,
who
I
else
guess by default, Lashley, because he had Lashley.
Yeah, they never really had a one-on-one.
They didn't have a one-on-one, and Lashley he wasn't really put under by Lesnar, so maybe that's an option. But
they book Lashley like shit too. All right, go ahead, Ray.
I have something very interesting here. SummerSlam takes place in July.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Weird.
The anniversary of Dusty Rhodes' passing is in June.
Well, that's not July, so.
I know it's not July, but it's leading into SummerSlam.
SummerSlam is traditionally August.
But it's this
I
year.
wonder
It's
why
July.
they didn't move it up.
This year is in July. I'm just wondering if they would do something with that. Cody Rhodes has been talking about his father's shadow. You have the Dusty Rhodes Classic, NXT, all this other stuff. If anybody's listening, that could be a possibility. But would that be the guy to take the belt off of Roman?
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
You don't think so? You don't think
not only is it not a good creative idea, but the WWE will not do that for sure. Like, forget your personal feelings, but look at these people. They're not going to take the belt off of him for Cody. They're waiting for the right moment to start burying Cody. They just letting him enjoy the shine now, and then they will start to pile it on. Like, they'll get you one way or another. Sometimes it takes a while. Look at Sheamus, they told him he was going to wear that outfit, and it took him a while, but he's wearing it, and that's just saying, hey, I don't want to wear that stupid outfit. Now imagine a guy goes to another company, talks shit about you for like 3 years, and all this other stuff.
They're always going to remember that shit.
Frank Spiegelbauer asked the winner of the Contributor of the Year award, says book Ziggler versus Roman for the vet.
A lot of chin locks.
Stand and deliver.
Well,
all right, real quick, gentlemen. Vet, we'll start with you here. Grading scale, back in school, A to F. Where did you rank WrestleMania this year?
I think versus expectations and build, you could probably have to give this an A.
Take the curve.
But I'm gonna personally give it like a B, like a low B, maybe a B minus. I thought even the matches that I disparaged, I think everybody worked hard. I just think they worked wrong. Like in the case of AJ and Edge, they still worked hard, but and the ladies in the Unfortunate Four-Way, like all that, nothing to disparage their efforts and stuff. But I think as a show, it came off as a B minus in total. One thing that was missing from previous WrestleManias is it really felt like they rushed everything. And even though some parts of these felt rushed, I think each important match kind of got the time it should have, more or less. It felt like a big moment, I guess, for the matches, whereas in years past, it's really felt like they're just so eager to move on to the next thing, and nothing means anything. So they did a little bit better job of slowing it down this year, I think. That's just a feeling.
They slowed shit down. They slowed shit down. All right, Big Ray, your grade on this.
So you're gonna have to rank it against like WrestleMania 3's.
Well, you get the curve. You get the curve. Just how you feel in the current state of pro wrestling today, as we're sitting this thing, you have to give it a grade. Would that
I was
can
gonna give
kinda
it an
compare some-
I'm not gonna give it an A because of all the things that Vet said. I'll give it an A minus, B plus, A minus. I'll go closer to A minus. It would have been an A actually for me. Like I said, WrestleMania 3, A plus. You know what I mean? I would have given it an A if the main event gave me more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, whatever it might be. I mean, because all the highs, and then we kind of
Yeah.
go out on a little bit of a low there.
Right.
But
Like if it was something crazy and The Rock came out and fucking challenged Roman Reigns and some shit like that happened, that would probably would have put it over for me. But I'll give it an A minus.
yeah, I think, you look how much fun Austin was having. It was hard to follow him on night 2, as it would have been impossible to follow him on night 1. I agree with that. I would have loved to give this thing an A minus, a B plus. I'm at a B minus.
Ooh.
And I think it's a lot of this had to do outside of what Vet was talking about from the mechanics of the ring and all that. We had at the end of this thing just WrestleMania 8+ hours of wrestling or of show, and right around 2 hours of actual in-ring happening. They've got to do something. I understand the reason why they want to hype these things up for your casual viewers. You're looking for live, watchable content. I get all that, but it's a drag repeatedly. And when we're running commercials for Peacock, you don't have to remind me to order Peacock. I'm watching it on your fucking network.
Right. Unless you're streaming it illegally.
Yes.
Yeah, or if you're one of those out of markets that doesn't have Peacock, so international, like you were saying before. But question from Classified Chappie, though. He says, important question, is this WrestleMania worth a watch for everyone that isn't interested in wrestling? That answer, I would say no. I don't think if you're not interested in wrestling, this is not gonna make you interested. But I think if anybody watched it, they probably wouldn't be sorry unless they watched the pre-shows.
If you're
Yeah,
not
don't watch
interested,
the
if you're not interested in, like, if you're bringing in someone that had never seen that or hasn't seen it in a while, I would say what would be more hurtful if they brought it in. I think they would enjoy it and they would say, "Hey, I might give this a look," but they are going to be greatly disappointed when they tune in tonight and Friday.
Buckshot Kid just called you out. RBV only says B minus because he got suckered into watching the kickoff show.
Hey, I forced myself. I got out of the apartment. I went and did something Sunday to make sure I wasn't just going to turn it on for background noise and get stuck watching that bullshit.
Whatever. Anywho.
You know it. Gentlemen, I want to thank you. Well, can we go around here, hit the plugs? We'll get out of here under 3. Big Ray.
All right, guys. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for all the support here at Hamin Media as we start a new season of HMG with probably brand new shows, probably brand new people joining us. Every single year we have something new here at HMG. So thank you so much. Again, guys, you can join me and the Vet every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Next Level Wrestling Review. If you don't want to watch NXT, then listen to me and Vet just talk about it. That's awesome. Same thing with the Ridiculously Random podcast. I can't believe we actually won. We won. Me and Colin. Thank you guys, man. It's not it means a lot.
A big celebration episode coming Wednesday.
Probably not. We'll be talking top 5 best TV theme songs of all time. So we're spanning the 50s, the 60s, the 40s, the 30s, the 2000s, everything. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Follow me on social media at Big Ray Hernandez. You can follow me on Twitter at Big Ray Hernandez, on Instagram at Big Ray Hernandez, and now on TikTok at Big Ray Hernandez, where yesterday I put a video of me actually telling some dude on the train to stop smoking crack on the train, which he did. He got angry. He goes, "I'm just trying to smoke." And he got his umbrella and walked away. So that happened. So thank you guys again. I don't think you guys understand how much we appreciate you. Big shout out to Ben Hamin all the way over there in Mexico. Ya Allah. And I can't do it without guys like you, Rick, and guys like the Vet. I mean, you guys make me shine. So thank you so much for everything.
All right, Vet, he left you a 140. Go.
Yeah, nothing major like that. Just want to say thanks to everybody for all your patronage. Thank you for voting for me for Rookie of the Year and Pro of the Year. And I thank you privately, Rick, but thank you publicly for organizing that. It was a really fun show just to watch. Even if nobody won anything, it still would have been entertaining. But everybody won everything, so it worked out. So thank you very much for that. And you can find me at where Ray said, and also you can find me on the Impact Attack, which I'll be recording later tonight with Colin and Brandon. And I'll see you then.
There we go. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to keep it under 3 here. Hey, you're getting this one for free, but spread the good word. Hamin Media Group, channelattitude.com. Ray, get us out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week or next year for WrestleMania. Come back for the Monday Locker Room. Y'all.